and then I'll go let them in.
Hey guys, what's up? This is a channel-wide live stream, so we'll see how many people show up for it. I don't know. This is a kind of a hot topic on our channel right now, so who knows how many people will get in here. But yeah, go ahead.
Now, I have a question, Will. Are we ever going to do a reread together as you have done before with me? Because the thing is I'm really behind. Oh God, there's a lot of people already.
Yeah, there's people really like to see us talk about this.
Oh, and then it
On
went down suddenly by 11 people. What the fuck? They were like, nah, Katie's there,
No.
get off.
Now they're live. No. If you want to. The thing is, I didn't really feel like making you guys suffer through this.
If it's
Like,
really like not funny bad, then yeah, I guess so.
the problem is there's no audiobook, so you have to read the whole
There's
stupid
no
thing.
audio. Well, oh wow, she degraded.
She says audiobooks are really tough to produce. And like to be fair,
Oh
I
yeah,
do
that's
get
probably
her not
true.
I do get her wanting to maybe put it up later versus now. Uh so that I never have to. Yeah. I'm here to thank you for reading this so I never have to. You're welcome, but it costs a lot. I always say to Maria and Katie, we're like Jesus. We sacrifice for your guys' sins. But he only had
Did
to
you buy
be
this book?
I got an ARC copy. No. I got an ARC copy of it, which is why we were able to do it early.
Oh wait, you got. Oh really?
Yeah, I got an ARC copy. It only came out on the 10th, so only like 3 or 4 days ago.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say here because of Kit Bosch. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
okay, so here's the thing. On our Discord, hey, what's up? This is the face reveal. On our Discord, I was gonna add everyone that were live, but the thing is I have another Discord for my Warhammer stuff, and I accidentally did it there first. And even
What
though I
a
deleted
fucking
it quite
noob.
quickly, a lot of people noticed pretty immediately. So we might be getting some Warhammer fans in here.
Well, they'll
Yeah.
get to experience literature.
It'd be so funny if I was like, yeah, no, I'm like, yeah, no, Kit Bosh is the one up there.
Up there, yeah,
Spoiler
that's me.
alert. She just has a very masculine voice when she's talking about
That's me. I mean,
Warhammer.
hey, actually, so to be frank, last week I was sick, and so I had a really deep voice, and it scared my students. I would be like, "Get in the hallway," but it was like actually genuinely very deep, and because it was so hoarse, and they were like, and they got scared. Like it was great. I wish I had a deeper voice now because I think I would actually put the fear of God into some of these kids.
It's so funny.
Bro, do you
Do
guys
you
even
guys?
like books at this point?
Yes,
Yes.
we have a playlist for it. I think there's like 30 books on there. There are some books I absolutely adore. While looking for prose to contrast this one against, I was rereading some of Wolf Hall. That is a gorgeous book. I love that book.
And as I was saying before
Sabriel.
Sabriel, I wasn't part of that one, but also like we were literally just saying 5 seconds ago, he was like, oh, I couldn't think of a good banter thing. And I was like, Gideon the Ninth has
Gideon
great
Ninth is
banter.
also a lot of fun. Kushiel's Dart has problems, but the thing about it is, and a lot of people, it's not even really your fault if you're being sincere and not a dick about it, is that YouTube doesn't push them. YouTube likes us roasting things, and you guys prefer to watch those, so it just forms a cycle. We've had
Yeah.
an unusual amount of roasts the last like couple of months, but that's not our fault. We thought we were
Look,
gonna like Will of the Many, and it ended up being terrible.
listening on Spotify to the podcast, and they like a lot more than I think people realize. We do actually. There's a lot of
Yeah.
books we love.
There's
Uh,
let's actually very quickly before we get started go
oh
through it
yeah,
because
please,
there's no
yes.
reason not to while we wait for everyone to filter
I
in.
almost grabbed quotes from Someone You Can Build a Nest, and even though it's not the most perfect book ever, it's still a very enjoyable book that Maria and I did. And I was like, oh, wait, there's like a couple of really good quotes in this. Oh, yeah, here we go. Zoom in,
Here
though, a
we
little
go.
if you can. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
we have 45 episodes.
There you go.
Let's see. Now another Necro Baby. That was I had a few problems with it, but overall that's a really
Yeah.
strong book. Uh, I mean, it is somehow cathartic to listen to people emotionally devastated by bad writing or storytelling. You know what? There is the problem is that and I get it too. There's such an energy when somebody is so fired up about it that it doesn't always translate into a book you like. Dragonfire says the problem is if you guys like the book, I want to read it myself and don't want to spoil it. Yeah, that is also just sort of a fundamental kind of problem with how we do
I think our
These
reviews for good books are pretty solid, though. Like, there are a couple here and there where we are summarizing more than analyzing, but for the most part, I think we do a really good job, like
No, I
breaking
think we
down
do a
some
really good
things.
job on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Mosley says good reviews are generally bland and samey. It's a sad reality. So the thing about it is, I actually think this is where you can tell good critics from bad critics. Any
Yeah.
critic can criticize a bad book well. Not every critic can
Analyze a good
analyze a
book.
good book and tell you what they liked about it. I love the video on Hyperion. It made me want to read it. Yeah,
Good.
that was we were quite pleased with that book.
Oh, yeah. And then Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia Fairy was wonderful for Maria and I. Fairy Thirst
Um,
Trap. Yes. That too.
None of that. But see, here's the thing. Oops, I zoomed in too much. Okay, None of the Necroboby, the most popular on our Yes We Like books, has 16,000 views.
Oh,
Now,
yeah. See, there you go.
for comparison, if we go to our playlist of roasting books, roasting bad books, if we go here instead and we do share this tab instead, we see that number one is Shadowversity was 325,000. Save is Champion with 127. So actually, this is by far our most popular. But Savage. So to get to 17, we have to go down to
The God.
here.
Right there.
Can we not? 24. So
Bride.
that's just kind of the way it is. You guys jumping back to the Cosmere, I think you'd enjoy Way of the Kings. Probably not. I would like to do a later Brandon work, but I think something like Tris of the Sea or whatever, is something that's smaller. You're not.
So anyway,
You're
in
not worried about roasting
essence,
things. And again, I
yeah.
understand why people see this because those are the only ones that YouTube pushes to them.
Yes. And also people like drama and as my kids say tea. So they now they well that's clock it. That's not tea. Anyway, but anyway, like that's gonna be way more popular than the other. But we do love lots of books, as you saw. At least
Oh, here
45
we
of
are.
them, if not more.
What if world building? This one starts real slow and not great, but it gets really good. No, Hair of the Ninth is also quite good. Uprooted, we all three absolutely love. You
Well, I
guys liked
wasn't
Emily Wilde.
I didn't read Uprooted, but
Haven't
whoever
you
the
read
third
it?
one is.
I thought you had read it, but not with us.
No, I haven't read it yet.
This is Maria's favorite book to the point where we did a second
Like
version of this
a
4 years
million?
later.
You mean a million different things on that? We have looked at that thing a million times.
The only romantic persuasion we quite liked. Looking back, I don't love this one as much, but it was still like kind of a solid romp.
Yeah.
That only really falls apart at the
Oh
ending.
God, the Remnants. I wish people actually look at it.
Yeah.
7,000 views, guys. The Remnants was a great series until it wasn't. But it was such a good beginning, and 7,000.
Yeah, and I really liked that too. Like those books
I
are
know, me
great. I actually
too.
thought of pulling some prose from that one because I remember the beginning of that book is so devastatingly
It
effective.
is. That author is incredibly good at being like. What's nice about the Remnant series, again, it's for students, for a younger audience in general. But overall, what's crazy about that series is that it is very graphic, but in
Mhm.
the most simple most impact. If you want to learn how to write a simple, impactful graphic scene, that, and then of course, what's the other one called? The one that we read, Nick Cutter,
Oh, The Troop.
The Truth.
That's another
And
one I thought about trying to get prose from.
yeah. Oh God, I was just actually, I made my husband start listening to it, and he was listening to it, and he was like, "Oh, okay, I see what you guys mean," because he was listening to what's the underwater one called? The Deep.
The Deep is not good. I'm sorry.
He
Nick Cutter
wasn't
hit it out
impressed
of-
by it.
At least The Queen had some interesting the other book he did had some interesting kind of character stuff going on. I still think about the main friendship between the two girls in that one.
Hmm.
Necromancer, Girl Boss, Sabriel. This is in my top 5 of the books we've read for the podcast. Real quick, let's see. Somebody was saying that Shad being creep was also mainstream. It still is.
That
2 new
yeah,
videos
isn't
came
that
out
weird?
roasting him, and we've been getting even more views from them. Like every time Shad is stupid on the internet, we get a ton of people coming to ours, which is
If
like
you,
nice, but
I told Will a while ago, if you Google Shad specifically, we are the first video that gets brought up, which is really upsetting for like from his end of things.
no.
But
You know, Savior's Army, we're the first video or the
oh,
second
are
video that
we?
shows up on the Google search if you do incognito, which
Somebody
is
specifically
hilarious.
just asked, "How did you get an art copy if you?"
Um, just a little bird tweeted it to me. It's like, hey, not tweeted in the Twitter sense, but just I just I have connections. I have it's Brontes's network. Brontes's network is what got me there.
Oh my god, I
Uh,
already know the answer to this, I feel like.
you might. Beyond Murderheart, 2 minute trapped. Oh, Piranesi. Oh, that's another one I should have grabbed pros
I
for. That's
know.
beautiful.
And then also
Annihilation.
Annihilation. I know, I was just gonna
Also,
say.
yeah.
Scorpio
Scorpio
races, we
races.
loved. We've done like a whole critique thing, Will and I, on like the
Twice.
yeah.
We did 2 on it because it's so good. I was rereading some of the horror scene with the horse.
I would
There's
really like to actually, Will, can we do a thing on House of Leaves at one point? Specifically, I mean on the like I mean I can just take pictures because I have the book now. But like specifically the structure of the part where they descend into the abyss. Like I think that's such an interesting format.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be really cool. Write it down because I'm always running out of critique topics.
Okay,
Song by
I'll send it
Suspire's
to you.
prose is good actually. If you guys are watching this and are interested in prose, I do break down. I think what Martin does really well, even though people say he's not a good prose writer, but he is. He has distinct strengths. Oh, the Temeraire books. Me and Maria love the first 4. John dies
I
at the
really
end.
liked the first one, which is the
The
only one I
Troop is
read.
an excellent, excellent book. I love the Keys to the Kingdom books, at least the first 5. The
Take a
Days of the Week are
drink.
people and they don't like you. Nobody. Look at that 4.5.
Yeah, so there you go. Anyway, I think we've established the
Uh,
answer to this question, by the way.
yeah. Let's see what our least popular good review is. Yeah, the second one. Oh, Absolution also. Oh, I like this. Maybe don't experiment on the Eldritch Horror.
By the
Not so
way,
good.
I wish you guys had invited me. I watched that whole series.
Oh, really? I thought you hadn't.
No, I already watched the whole series. I had so many thoughts on it too.
Well, okay, I'll include you on the wrap up we did because we never actually did the last one because schedule stuff. Lesbian Ghost. That was a good book.
What?
Okay,
Wait,
all right,
who said that?
let's.
Wait, what?
No, a lesbian haunting, I guess.
Oh, I was like,
Lesbian
oh,
Ghost.
that book is so goddamn. Let me tell you, I've gotten so many private messages saying, Katie, thank you so much for like,
It's a good
which
one.
but like also just like thank you guys in general for doing it. But like, it's because like I was like, oh, look, it's Emily.
I mean, it's so funny because I read that and I was like, oh, she feels disenfranchised from her husband, late stage capitalism. And you're like, she's a lesbo. She
Yeah.
wants them titties. And I was like, oh, it is really obvious, actually.
And also she has guilt and there's like it's so multifaceted and she hasn't come
Yeah.
out with a new one. Well, I mean she has like 2 other things, but I bought them but I haven't read them because they kind of seem like uninteresting. I don't know. I have them. But
You need to give us a list of books you like, but which you don't do a video review. Let's see.
oh
Song of Ice and
god.
Fire, obviously, I'll never do on the channel, but I adore. Even as it
Rune
has lots of
marks.
problems. Rune
Rune
Marks
marks.
is one
Wait,
we haven't done yet. Timeline by Michael Crichton, I actually quite like as a book. I really want to redo it at some point, but that would just do terrible. What are some other ones? Thank
wait.
you for thoroughly addressing my admittedly cheeky question. I get it. More than anything, it's just I understand why people have it. It's kind of annoying, but there's also nothing we can really do about it.
Also, dude, Junji Ito. At any point, like I know it's a graphic novel,
Yeah.
but Junji Ito, I have all of them right here. We could do Evil and Me by the same person who did the the woman one with the witch. Shoot, what's it called? It's right here. Slewfoot.
Slewfoot. Yeah. There's a book called Alas Babylon that I read as a kid that I really liked and my mom really likes. It's about like, what if you're in Florida when there's all the technology dies because of a nuclear war in the 70s.
That's
That's a
a
pretty good one.
really cool
My
concept.
mom loves that book because it's like a.
Also, any of the you just got unplugged, yeah. Any of the Tamora Pierce books with Maria and I would love
Oh
to do the Tamora
yeah,
Pierce books.
yeah. You guys really like that.
We do.
Got to do one for you guys, then one for the other one. Actually, yeah, that's kind of how we do this, really. What are some other books? The Pride Inn Chronicles I really liked as kids, but I probably wouldn't do because I don't want the shine on them to come off.
Vampire Hunter D, but Will doesn't want to do that, I don't think.
You and Lenny can do that one. You and Ellen. Mostly because I think I would end up criticizing it. I remember even as a kid, I was like, I don't know, parts of this feel weird to me.
No, they are. I think it's because of the translation, the culture
I
difference.
think the first 3 Harry Potter books are very well written, but I wouldn't read them on the channel because it's like, I don't know, it's like reading Lovecraft, except if Lovecraft was still alive and funding the Klan. Like, it's or discussing Mein Kampf. This is obviously an
Yeah.
exaggeration for the prose. Like there is such a specter hanging over the
Yeah.
series now that like if we're not going to discuss it, but also textually it isn't really in the text, so it's just kind of an uncomfortable thing. But I think the first three are pretty solid. Artemis
Also,
series. Actually, we might do that for the channel at
yeah,
some
and
point.
then also any of the American anthology series of short stories. Like, there's a lot of like short stories. Will and I have done like one or two, I think, and I keep bringing up one. I'm not gonna bring it up again. It's fine. I'll skip
I'm
it.
not reading that. I don't want to.
It's so strange, though.
I
It gave me
know.
nightmares. It gave me.
You
It's
know,
by
you
this.
and you and Ellen might like that because she
It's. I
also
think
likes
it's
really fucked up
by.
books.
I think it's by the same. And Maria read this. I think you read it too because it was part of the class that you guys took. But there was a book. I think it's by the same person. The brothers story is by the same person, but I could be wrong. That did the book. You remember the short story? I'm saying remember because again, Maria said you guys read it in a class, so I'm assuming you might have read it. What is this? Oh, it's just my skin. Um, it's.
It's the most space alien thing coded thing to say ever.
I know. I know.
What
Well,
is
it's
this? Oh,
funny.
it's my human skin.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I'm
Yeah.
literally. This is from a museum, by the way, called Meow Wolf. Oh, it's such a cool museum. But anyway, um, no. What I was gonna say is, did you ever read the story where like a kid goes on the bottom of a pool and he puts his butt.
No, no, and I'm not reading it. No.
Do you know what I'm
Oh,
talking about?
yes, and no. You've told me about this many times, and I'm never reading it.
And his
That's
guts
such.
come out?
Okay, okay. Anyway, guys. Also, I think Maria has a ton of books she loves that we. There's a bunch of Ursula K. Le Guin she wants to read that
Yeah.
we just probably will never read on the channel. I really want to read Beloved by Toni Morrison because I read it in college but wasn't
Yeah.
paying attention. But she was such a
What?
strong writer. I didn't really read stuff in college. I just kind of got through the book because I would fall behind after the first like three chapters. But I don't know that that would do
Crime
well
and
on the
Punishment.
channel. But
Can we do Crime and Punishment? That is a fascinating book. I love it specifically because his
Ellen really, really wants to do War and Peace, and
Oh, well, I've never
60
read
hours
War and
long.
Peace, but the Crime and Punishment was the first classical book I connected with besides The Awakening by Kate Chopin, and but Beloved
Oh,
is
fun.
way better.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it like the pros of it being really, really good. I just, again, kind of bullshitted my way through my entire college degree, which was a community college degree, so it's not like the craziest. But
No, you just had to go to a more exacting program, I think.
I mean, part of it though is just I don't know. I learned how to analyze books on like Tumblr
Yes,
kind
that's
of
what I
thing, and
mean.
then past that
That's
point,
what
I
I'm
never
saying.
really. I don't know. I would have liked to get a more thorough education in the classics,
That's
somewhat.
literally what I, yes, that's what I mean. You would have
Well,
really
I'm
liked a
kind of
very,
agreeing. I'm kind of agreeing. Um,
oh,
I would
wait,
love some
side note.
classics, but I get that. Yeah, they just one for us, one for the channel.
Can I offer, please? Well, you can say no, obviously.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm going to ask?
No, but I'm not reading the book about the boy in the butt in the pool.
No. Well,
I'm not doing it. You can't make
no,
me.
I was just going to say, may I share my baby spider?
Oh, I let's do it at the end of the
Okay,
stream for
and that's
people who do
fine.
have like arachnophobia. I don't want them to have to like click and then click off and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
Uh, oh,
I'm just
awesome!
excited
Yay! I'm now
because
officially hired. Sorry, to be the audio
no, what?
engineer for a series by my local literary fest to focus on local writers. If you have any tips for
Oh,
getting
that's
good
cool.
audio, that is a constant struggle on this channel. Uh,
Wait, at Ryan Brown. Wait, I want to see
Age of
Age of
Scorpius. Oh, they're
Scorpius.
talking about that. That's a book that came out that's got a lot of drama. Maria knows more about it.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know as much, and we probably won't cover it because people have covered it so
Also,
extensively.
another book that genuinely, like, I don't think you would want to do it, honestly, but if anybody's interested in the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, that's actually genuinely a very good book.
Yeah, Trump mentioned him a few years ago. He's still alive, right? From my understanding of
Did
events.
he say that?
He said something that made it seem like he was like you can clearly tell he thinks he's still alive, which is hilarious. But
It's
okay, we
the
should get started.
1800s! The 1800s! Anyway, okay, let's go.
All right. I will probably, when I cut this into a video, put this as the timestamp for when we actually start talking about the pros. Okay. So as everyone knows, we recently, me and Maria, read *The Savior's Army* by Jenna Moreci, and one of the problems with the book is that it's very poorly written on a prose level. And so we thought me and Katie would go in and break down the prose and show you word by word what's being done poorly. I don't want to hear complaints in this chat or in the comments about us being too picky. This is the point.
That's
We
the
are
point.
micro-analyzing everything here. Oh, hey, non-gaisemus? I know who you are.
Nerdismus.
Non-gaisemus, yeah.
No, known guys. Okay.
I
Also, side note: I want everybody also to have the caveat of knowledge that I have not read this book. I have not read the sequel. What was it called? The Savior's Sister.
Save your sister. You only read the first one.
I only read the part where she catches in the Savior's Sister, where she catches somebody doing something sexual in the very beginning, and
Yeah, we'll
it
talk about
made
it.
me feel massively uncomfortable. My eyebrows look like caterpillars today, the way I'm like, it's because I put darkening on them. I'm sorry. I'm gonna bring it away. But anyway, uh yeah, so just know that I am not aware of the context of some of these things. So I don't think that will matter, but I'm just letting you know.
No, I picked things that well that you should be able to just pick up. And what we'll actually start is with the first chapter, break that down, and then we'll see what problems we come up with there, and then we'll talk about other ones. But yes, Moreci is remarkably bad at prose, and I think actually she's gotten worse since the first book. Like I think she spread her wings more, and her
That's
wings are shitty.
crazy.
So what are you gonna do?
But
I
hey,
didn't I didn't say this during the review, but reading this book felt more like reading like self-care wish fulfillment than it did fiction. Like the things that make and like technically a lot of
I
fiction is kind of
mean,
wish fulfillment, but like it felt very like that in that there's very little curiosity about the world or other people or emotions. It's just a lot of the kind of the same things and sticking to an outline.
I mean, now, like, we're not going to get into this right now, but you know what occurs to me when you say that? I'm like, okay, so where do you draw the line on the ethical responsibility of being a publisher and gaining money from other people? Like, does it matter that that's what you're seeking in your writing and you're publishing it and you're just like, oh, if you like it, you take it? Or is it irresponsible of you to do that? Like, because then it's like, once you become a big name, do you have an ethical
So
responsibility to be a decent writer?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I think I think that there is an extent to which this is my fantasy, and if you guys want to read it, that's cool. Like Ice Planet Barbarians is very upfront about what it wants
Yeah.
to be, and I think a lot of that is kind of in the ways the series kind of forecasts itself and kind of talks with the reader. Because again, Ice Planet Barbarians, you're very clear from the beginning what's going on and
Yeah.
kind of what the tone is going to be. Whereas these books try to be much more epic and about real things. It's kind of like if you're going to include essay in a book, you need to be serious. This can't be a funny comedy where there's an essay scene. You need to communicate to the reader what experience you're trying to impart to them. The other thing is that Moreci isn't just a writer. She has built her entire fan base off
Yeah.
of being an authority on how to write. So I think it's
So,
very
okay, that's where I forgot about that. But I think subconsciously I was thinking about that, which is why I posed the question. Because when you're doing that, then you have to be a voice of reason. That's like a professor saying, "Oh yeah," like, and then sputtering something that only they like, but nothing that has evidence or actual like support for their beliefs. Like it's the same thing.
yeah, it's very true. And I don't know. It's funny. I was reading about George R. R. Martin this morning, and the last update about Winds of Winter, and I was thinking about like, is it immoral to not finish a series that people are so invested in? Because the thing is,
No, it's not immoral.
I don't know though, because you are getting people involved in this emotional
I think it's
affair.
irresponsible, but I don't think it's immoral.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a better way to put it. Okay, let's but yes, that side tangent aside, we're gonna be looking at the first scene of the Savior's army,
I'm
and
not ready,
breaking it down.
honestly. I'm not.
Huh?
I'm really not because like it's been a minute since I've read some pretty bad writing. Also, I'm gonna start reading my books now that I have my new job. By the way, side note. I'm gonna start reading books rather than listening to books because I'm gonna have the time.
Well, highlight as you go, because that was part of this book was just me highlighting a ton of stuff that I was like, this is terrible. All right, share this tab instead, and we'll go. This is the one we do. Yes.
Oh.
By the way, if you guys can hear a background noise on my side, let me know because I have my fan pointed at me because it's quite hot.
Will, you already know. I don't think my dogs are crying anymore to come in. They were very upset that I kicked them out, but they were being very irritating.
No, I mean fair. Let's see. I'm gonna go open my blinds real quick because it'll help with the light.
Yeah, go ahead. As a side note, everybody, I'm not going to show you because I'm not going to disrespect his preference for waiting till the end and also disrespect you guys if you have arachnophobia. But also, like, it's just a picture. But I have a new spider and it's like, he's really cute. He's a metallic pink toed spider, tarantula. Okay, there we go. That's all.
Okay, that did absolutely nothing. All right, cool. Yes. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start again for people who may have skipped up to this point. We are being picky with our words and talking about like minor
Yeah.
things about it. So I don't want to hear like this was like you guys are being overly picky. That's the point. Again, if you have skipped to this part, we do like books. That's what we talked about for those like 20 minutes of this video. If you skipped here from the timestamp. Okay. So I'll get us
So,
started.
wait. I'm just going to first comment because I would like to know, and I'm assuming I'm right in this. It switches perspectives, correct?
Rip and tear. Uh, what do you mean? Yeah, it goes back and forth between Tobias and Layla, but
Okay.
chapter alternating style, not
Okay. I
style.
don't already like that because I feel like when people do that, they have to be very good at writing to do it.
It's a pretty common trope among romanticy of like you get the
I
male and
think
the
it's a
female.
very poor trope. I think it's an incredibly poor trope because then you take away the anticipation and the tension. And I think it ruins some of it unless you have it for a reason.
I'm actually the same way because but then I tend to just like my viewpoints to like one because I think as Martin once said, we're all alone in the world and we're just trying to figure out what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I'm
I
a
know, I
Danish
saw that.
person who's very nitpicky. It's called a fly fucker, flu nipper, flu nipper. Yeah, man, we were
Flu
fixing fly.
nipper.
Oh, this
Flu
fly.
nipper. We are
This
flu nippers.
Katie, would you like to spit roast this fly with me? I don't know why I went French.
Yeah, that
Do you guys
he
take
always does
sponsors?
that.
I will the French on the Trias. They do not.
Oh my God. William,
Do you
are we
guys
ever
take
going to do
sponsors?
that
I'm gonna
type of
read my
stuff?
book.
Because I asked Will a million times because we keep getting emails off for rando people's books and they're like, we'd like you to
Oh
review our book. And I keep getting
no,
the
we
forward of
don't.
it. And I'm like, no.
First off, if it doesn't have an audiobook, we're definitely not doing it. And if it does, yeah, we're still not gonna do it. Sorry. You'd have to pay us, and then at that point, that would be kind of immoral. So,
Yeah. But that being said, like, as a side note, if it's okay, Will, I don't know that I'll have the time, but in the past, I've done like a group. I've since discontinued it because I've just been too busy as a teacher. But now that I'm switching employment, like, I'm not going to be a teacher anymore. It's too much. If I'm able to, just note that in the future, I would very much like to restart that critique session going again. I
Katie's
can't
Fiction
promise.
Corner.
Yeah, but I can't promise that's going to happen until I start my new job. I know what its expectation is and I know what my schedule is. And once I know that, I might be able to start that up again. So if you want to like think about it, maybe in the future inquire about it, like I'll definitely post if I start that again.
Yeah, yeah. If we do, we start it up. Will reflexively speaks in a French accent, while Maria
Yeah.
reflexively speaks in a Russian accent. Yeah, that's true.
No,
But
Maria
also,
definitely does like old Greek sometimes. Like she's just like old Greek man.
well, sometimes I actually like to do kind of
Oh
a
God,
Georgian
please.
accent, if you know what I mean. I'm like a real mint julep. Okay.
Oh wait, just real quick, but the teaching crisis
Teaching
got.
crisis got Katie. Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad she's got. I'm so.
Maybe I can do high school or college in the future, but to be frank, I've been seeing some postings from professors and stuff about the level of writing because of how much screen time students have used in the past. Dude, guys, we've just as, if you're an American, just real quick, as a side note, if you're an American, they have dumbed down, by the way, the ACT and SAT, and it's significantly easier than it used to be. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Okay, all right. Let's go and get started. What was the other thing I was gonna foreground this by saying? I don't remember.
I
We'll
don't know.
we'll, we'll get there as we go. Oh, that was the other thing I was gonna say is that this is actually what me and Katie do every month for our Patreon members in the book club tier. If you would like to get access to, I think over 30 of these at this point, join. You get the whole list even though you just joined. Also, tomorrow, me and Katie will be breaking down the sex scenes in this book on that exclusive critique stream. They never come out on the channel, so if you guys would like to see that or our others, join today. All right. Okay. Let me get started. You need an army? Yes, Layla swallowed. Or else Brontes ravages our alliances and Thesson is left to rot. The campfire crackled. Tobias had coaxed the story from Layla once they'd settled deep in the Cryos woods, shrouded by broadleaf trees and the imposing darkness of night. They were running for their lives, and she'd promised to explain why, to spare no detail. At first, she spoke hesitantly, each word a drop sputtering from a spigot. But eventually, Brontes's plan to assassinate her and the war that would ensue poured forth in a torrent. Tobias had expected bloodshed, but not this. The Sovereign is going to colonize the other realms, he muttered. Starting with Kuvar. Layla's gaze darted around the campfire. That's why I did what I did. I didn't want to hurt people, but Brontes was going to kill me, to destroy the realm. You don't need to explain yourself, Tobias said. You were acting in self-defense for the good of Thesson.
Can we pause there?
Yeah, I'm really good at voices.
So, as somebody who has not read this yet, my first go is this is incredibly cliche. It seems very contrived. Her explaining herself in this type of exposition seems very biased in the fact that it's trying to deliver to the reader a little review as opposed to it feeling naturally part of the dialogue. And then also, I see you highlighted. She spoke hesitantly, each word a drop, sputtering
Maria
from a
especially hated that.
spigot. Why do you dislike it? I'm just curious.
So, it took me a minute to understand why Maria really disliked it, and it's true. So first off, it's kind of hard to picture a bit, but mostly that's not how a spigot works. Also, spigot. How many spigots are there really? So you're in an ancient world. Like it's not just a thing modern people have, but
That's
reads
the first
a lot
thing
like
I thought.
hose. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels anachronistic, which okay, whatever. Just another like nick against the consistency of the world. But also, sputtering from a spigot, each word a drop. Spigots don't sputter one drop at a time. They sputter in spurts. They go and so, and actually, they kind of do it all at once as well. So, if she had said each word a a drop of water dropping from the spigot, you know what I mean?
Or not
something like,
sputtering. I think she used the word sputtering because but you know what doesn't make sense though to me? Look, so far Layla in the past has never sputtered. Sputtered being stuttered. Because when you're sputtering in language, I'm assuming like or like ugh, like you're trying to get it out. And like that kind of works with the concept of like if it's not fully on. Like if it was described as like
Right.
something, and again, anachronistic for sure. But if you're describing it kind of like where it's not fully on, and so it's like that makes sense a little bit, and then it makes sense for that. But it's like weird how it's being used here, just because one, as you said, like first of all, ancient Greece. Why are we describing it like this? Just say more like something else. But also, wait, can we just like real quick? I want to go to the Raven Spear real quick. The terms, again, the term spigot seems to originate from Middle English. So if the sword and the sandal, no, it's not. And then like all that kind of thing. Like, so again, anachronisms. And then,
I mean, again, I think there is a thing like a spigot in ancient times, but again, it mostly makes you think of a hose because I don't know how really popular they were. The other thing is, again, the sputtering is the problem here. She spoke hesitantly, so each word, so we're speaking about each word, it drops sputtering. So the sputter is like, again, it's not, boop, boop, boop. That is not
it
sputtering.
works, but it doesn't work the best. And more importantly, somebody else already said this right here. Oh wait, no, that right here. It's like she's adding purple prose to each quota or something. That's the problem here for me. More than anything, forget the whatever, the description. Forget all of that. It's just the profuse amount of let me catch the reader up through dialogue that seems unnatural, and then in between that, you've got that kind of thing.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. But also, the thing about it is that a lot of the times the words she uses aren't exactly wrong, but their connotation is a little off. Like, it doesn't sing. Like, there are descriptions that sing, and this isn't one of them. So, for example, let's go here to A Dance with Dragons. We'll share this tab instead. And then I will zoom into 150. The night was rank with the smell of man. Rank is a great word to use there. All of the connotations of a smell that's gross and kind of animal-like. This is from the perspective of a wolf.
And
Fit
musty.
was yeah,
Like
and
that
musty.
musty smell.
Yeah, and so it's a thing that like that is the perfect connotation, and you're actually getting something from it. Whereas like the night was filled with the smell of man, not the same. The night was oppressive with the smell of man, not the same. The
But
correct word
rank,
can make a whole sentence sing.
well, not just that, but rank, like, so in a weird, funny way, because that is a descriptor for the smell itself, along with combining with the fact that it's profuse, it works for the, if you're saying this from a wolf's perspective, that definitely makes more sense. It's because it's more like, wow, I smell a lot of it
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. Whereas if you said, what were the word choices you used before? Oppressive? Like, that's
Yeah,
more like,
abstract A,
loquacious.
but B. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so it's a weird kind of thing. Also, Ragged Manatee says, it's the dissonance between hesitant and sputtering. Sputtering invokes frantic tripping over your words.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's what it is exactly. This is why we have the coolest patrons. I think Ragged Manatee is a patron. And if not, I'm not going to tell you. We're just going to pretend. All her books feel like the zero draft that got published, like not even the first draft, the drafts that have all the weird spelling. So I actually got a from I now have in my possession an early draft, like a first draft that she wrote of the first like fourth of the book. So I'm gonna go through at some point and look at what the differences were to get like a better idea of what's going on
Oh,
there.
dude,
But I haven't
share it
done
with
that
me
yet.
because if I have more time now, which I will significantly, because I don't work till 12 now, um, I can spend my mornings looking at that stuff.
Well, okay, so here's the thing is that yeah, I want to put it into like a plagiarism, not because I think it's plagiarism, but like a plagiarizer thing where you put the first her original draft and the
Yes.
final draft
So you
because
can
I
see the
have a
differences.
feeling a lot did not change because she's extremely bad at taking criticism. And that's why
Okay.
Lives a Sensible Life says, "How come Jenna doesn't get better the more she writes books? It seems like she doesn't have the ability to." So this is actually something that comes. This is a thing a lot of writers actually have to a certain extent is that they're so busy writing that they don't actually get better at it. And I think in this case, it's also she listens to criticism less, and she's not interested. This book feels just uninterested in itself. Um,
Did you notice?
the name being Moreci, writing sucks. Yeah, I like to name things funny
All right,
things.
let's move on though.
Okay, so already though, also we have the problem that you need an army.
Oh God, that's so lame. Oh wait, put just
Yeah.
pause. One of my so that I don't know if anybody noticed my facial expression as soon as you brought this up, but I already like put my head in my hands because I'm sorry. Like how many movies, how many books, how many things in general have we seen? So you need an army, and it's like, dude, like if you're gonna use that line, I guess use it, but don't put it in the first. Like they're so authors have such a hard time me include like oh not that I'm an author but like in my writing that I've done like it's hard to decide what you want to begin with, but for the love of God, unless it's a comedy book that puts a sardonic slide on things, do not start off the book with a cliche.
No, it's really true. And the other problem is it's never going to be explained in the book why she needs an army when she could just like or especially at first why she doesn't try to shadow walk and just kill Brontes. She'll try to explain this in a minute, but it never makes sense. And so the book immediately starts with a certain amount of confusion because it's not actually clear why she needs an army, but they just said she needs an army, so you're trying to infer what the conversation was before this. Um
Wait, can I ask a question real quick?
uh-huh.
Because somebody brought it up, but because of my lack of context, it's kind of hard for me. Why does Brontes want to destroy the realm again?
No idea. She also has no idea, and she just says that he's a brute and that sometimes evil guys don't make sense. This is a thing she fundamentally doesn't understand is that
A motivation of specific characters and shades of gray.
well, yeah, and she also doesn't understand there's a difference between impersonal villainy and personal villainy. And impersonal villainy has a lot more to do with like structures in place. So like
Yeah, and
in this
also
case,
radicalization.
yeah, it really makes no sense because the realm will rot, and Brontes understands this, and it never is explained why he's how he thinks this is going to work on just a logistical level. Like, it's a massive plot hole, and it's just never explained because Bronte's a Skeletor. Yes. Uh, uh,
And then and then Raven Scholar saying, but the Skeletor was a comedic relief. There's no
yeah,
comedy
I
here.
mean,
That's odd. That's very odd. Again, I'm fighting with my lack of context, but let's move on to the next
no,
piece.
I mean, this is the first chapter. It should be catching you up. That's part of the problem here, is that this is the first chapter, and she wrote the last book like 4 to 6 years ago. So this should be catching you up. You shouldn't be lost. You should be able to finish The Savior's Champion. You read it, what, like a year ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
approximately.
And you should be able to get this. It's insane to expect someone to um, remember what happened 6 years ago in a book. And this is kind of a problem, which I termed Thera's lack of theory of mind, which is that she just doesn't understand the readers, and she has trouble locating them in the text.
Real quick, Starburst 514 said, if you're gonna start with dialogue, it needs to be memorable, funny, and most. Again, d- it's whatever you like. You can start your book however the heck you want, but you have to ask yourself. Remember, just like marketing. Unfortunately, that's the way you have to think about it, specifically in her realm of how she's selling this book. Not in all books, like for example, House of Leaves, definitely not. In other books like that is not looking for the marketing aspect of things. But for her, she's definitely obviously looking for that because of her social media presence. So when you start your book like that, you need to do the same thing as an elevator pitch. Like,
Hmm.
make it the most impactful you possibly can in the shortest amount of time, especially with the amount of time she had between her last book and this book, as Will just mentioned. So, like, you can't just, I don't know, it doesn't seem smart. It doesn't seem smart to me.
I think it's yeah, I think that's kind of the problem with it, is that this is just, it's a very cliched, as you said, and it doesn't really, it should hook, she thinks it hooks you, but actually it just makes it more confusing, because again, you're trying to figure out why she needs this army. She says or else, but why, unclear. But as Today Life's Good said, I have arrived 40 minutes late and we're still on the same page. Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about other stuff for like 20 minutes. But
25 minutes.
okay. Let's go ahead. Let's go to the second page. He balled his hands into fists. Without Layla and her blessing, the realm would wither away and its people would die of sickness. Brontes would lay waste to countless lives for his own personal expansion and greed. Yet somehow that wasn't the worst of it. The
Wait, what's his
sovereign.
greed though? Anyway, continue. I'm
He just
sorry.
wants to conquer places.
That's
Trying to
fine.
The sovereign trying to kill his own daughter. Naomi's voice wavered. Oh, the sovereign trying to kill his own daughter. Naomi's voice wavered. Tobias had nearly forgotten about her and their mother, both frozen around the fire. He saw them now, though, the blanched fear in Naomi's face and the curl of his mother's lips. So...
Okay, wait, I have a lot to say about this. Based off of what his mother's brief presence was in the first book, why is she curling her lips? Why is she feeling like that? I mean, I guess maybe she's like, as a mother, I'm really upset. But really, it should be more shock in this moment instead of derisiveness, is because she knows nothing about Bronte. She knows nothing about anything that's going on. So to feel that hatred and everything feels like contrived in that moment. And then also, as Will just pointed out, Naomi's weight. Who cares that? Don't they all know that royalty? Like, I don't know. This just seems super contrived.
Well, and also worse than trying to destroy the world, which is essentially his plan. Real weird. It's kind of odd. This comes down to Moreci, being very, very attached to her main characters. And that the transgressing against Layla or Tobias is the worst thing a character can do. Never mind what they do to other people.
Question. In the second book, was Brontes's backstory beyond being the previous winner ever gone into?
A touch, like a touch, but also we're not going to talk about that because that should be brought up here in the third book if it's important to his motivation, which it is. Again, this is the thing, is that like I don't feel like you actually don't need context to this, because you should remember, like, this is part of a book's job, is to remind you of these things. Also, curl of her lips it has the connotation of being like disgust,
Disgusted?
and like that doesn't quite match here. It really should be more like shock.
Yeah, or not even just shock, just like, what? Like, just like, I don't understand. Like, just pure confusion. Because don't forget, like, well, again, I missed the second book, so I don't know if,
Yeah.
like, they were caught up or anything. But, like, just being brought into this and sitting there, they should be more like, I would think the mother would be more contemplative. Like, she would be more like, this man wants to get rid of his daughter. I wonder, like, what is motivating him? This is very confused, like more like confusion, because that's how I feel like I would respond. Now, I'm not a mother, so maybe she's trying to do the whole, oh, she's a good mother. But I'll be frank, based off of what I saw in the past, she doesn't seem like a particularly great mother. She just seems like she popped out two kids and she's trying her best.
Yeah.
But like that's about it. Like there's no characterization that would allow me. Okay, this is the thing. I just connected it. If we knew more about his mother and we had connected with her and we knew what she stood for and we knew what her personality was, then her being disgusted would gratify us as the readers because we're like, yeah, she sees the ugliness in this and we respect her as a character, so we like that she feels this way. But we don't know nothing about her, and this is just like a contrivance because of course nobody should think that killing your own progeny is like okay.
No, I agree. And the other thing about it here is it's unclear what she's contemptful of. It kind of seems like she might be of Layla talking. Like it's a little unclear in that way. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because to me that's my immediate reaction. Then when I think about it, I'm like, okay, she's referring to this idea of killing your own daughter, but it's not quite clear. So, I don't know what to do now. Layla looked down at her lap. I knew we had to escape, that he'd come for you, but now, how am I supposed to gather an army? Brontes has the entire Thessian armed force, plus countless sellswords. You have your magic. And what will that do? Am I to heal Brontes to death? Bless him into submission? My power has its uses, but it's not much of a weapon.
Pause. Yes, it is. You collect people to revolt and you can constantly heal them super easily, so you are a massive force to deal with.
Okay, so already so many problems with this. A, you can shadow walk anywhere you've been. You can instantly
I
transport
forgot
up to
about that.
40 people. Like Maria says, the first thing they should do is go find a bunch of sellswords and be like, hey, I'm the leader of Thesson. I shine, so you know for sure I am. We're gonna go depose my evil uncle, and I'm gonna pay you a bunch. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they jump to try to kill him in his
Wait,
bedchamber.
I forgot about this because it's in the second book. She's literally a
Yeah.
serial killer who can teleport at will.
I mean, it's actually really true. But the thing is, Moreci forgets this at times that Layla has done terrible things and kills very easily, and it's like it kind of changes to how and when she wants to do girl power. Um, okay, let's see.
She was right,
Okay,
I
okay.
think, right?
Bless him to submission my powers is useless, but it's not much of a weapon. Okay, so also, what could you do? You could go find some lepers and heal them. That worked pretty good for getting Jesus a following. I don't know if Mercy knows about that, but it is very much a power.
You can literally create a different cult following and begin that. And the thing is so far, Layla has been described as being pretty like cognizant of things. Like she's supposed to be a clever glass, you know? Like she's not supposed to be an idiot. And so why wouldn't she think to herself, you know what we're going to do next? We're going to build a religious force with me and we're going to go against him. Like I don't this seems boring.
I genuinely thought this book was going to be about Layla gathering a rebellion, right? And
Yeah.
instead,
Is it
it's a MacGuffin army we're going to be searching for this entire book. Oh yeah, no. You haven't watched me and Maria's review. Yeah, this whole book is her trying to get to another country to get them to give her their army so
No.
that she
No,
can
no, no, no.
question
The
mark
people
question
believe
mark
in the
question
goddess
mark.
here.
Yes, people believe she shines in sunlight in a way that no one else can. She can heal people in a way no one else can. The common people think Brontes is terrible and they don't like him, and they think that Tobias is the real good person. The whole book is insane.
That seems very
Oh, she's already a religious figure. Yeah, I mean she is their saint.
That's
To
weird. Why didn't she do? Because that would be way more powerful as a story.
And it would also be her engaging with her own people in a way she hasn't because she's been stuck in the palace. And you could
Yeah.
see, yeah, her bonding. You could see Tobias changing roles, and then you could even have something where Brontes is pretty brutal in his, they try to gather some people together, and he comes and kills them all, or something like that. There could also,
Why? Wait, real quick. Why do you think she chose to do that? Like, what did she personally get out of the experience
okay,
of writing that
I'm gonna just
process?
be uncharitable, okay? I think, and the thing is, I keep trying to come up with a way to gussy this up into a term that doesn't sound insulting. I think Mercy is dumb when it comes to the physics of her reality book. Like, I just don't think she's thought of this stuff, and I think she has an extremely rigid way of thinking where she can't change the story once she wrote an outline. So she has to stick to the outline no matter what. She can't, like, I've heard from beta readers and other critique partners and stuff like that, that like she can't introduce certain things into the books because she thinks it wouldn't quite, it would violate a rule, but you could just change the story so it works
Yeah.
better. Like, it's a very odd thing. I think she has a, I don't know. I think
Also,
she's
look,
just dumb.
she rejected her Danny Misa moment. Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful moment. Belief, love, dedication, support, that kind of thing. Like, I mean, not that she really built it up in the previous books, I'm assuming, especially in the sequel, but like, I don't know, just
Caesar would have had a lot to say about 40 knives out of nowhere, if not for the knives getting to. That is actually a really good point, man. I wish I'd thought of that line. That's really good.
wait, like, in regards to like, think of
Okay.
this.
In terms
Because
of
I know
Layla
about
showing
Caesar,
up
but
wherever Brontes is, and murdering him with 40 guys with knives,
oh,
like,
yeah.
she can shadow walk and bring people with her. It makes no sense she doesn't. And the thing about it is, the book isn't even like they tried that. Like, the first scene of this book should be her and Tobias and like 10 guys they've gotten together,
Oh my God, trying. Yes.
trying shadow walking, going to Brontes's room, and it's actually a trap. He planned for them to do this, and they don't know where he is now. So they get out, but they're like, okay, shit, we can't do that. Now we
Yes.
move on to the next idea. Yeah.
Imagine if it had begun with take a left and then a right. The palace is guarded on the whatever side,
Mm-hmm.
something, 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 something. And then you see Layla like commanding them and like being a leader in that moment, like stepping forth, like because time has passed. Because that's the best. That's so gratifying sometimes. Like you want to see a character's growth, but I'm assuming we would see some growth. So I mean, we have theoretically in the first
Yeah.
book and everything, and then like I mean, it's inconsequential overall, but like you know what I mean though. And like imagine if we had like a little bit of a plot jump and then you
Mm-hmm.
you like all this experience and you can use flashbacks to go back to it, and then that would be very like a nice like buffer zone, like where she's meeting with Tobias during some of those things, and like you build up the relationship, and then also some of her like new relate, like maybe she bonds with some of the 40 people or whatever, like whatever the point is though.
Mm-hmm.
And like you get that through the past, but you also build it up in the present, in the moment, and then they go in and like you said, like she's doing all the thing but it's not good enough, and that's how they know it's not good enough, and so they have to overcome that with a larger force in some way. Like that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it would. There's so many more things in this book that would make sense. But I realize we're not really focusing on the writing, so
No, we're not, sorry.
uh okay. She was right. How in God's name were they supposed to assemble an army? Layla, the holy savior of Thesson, dethroned and forced into hiding. His mother and sister, villagers who'd never known tactics and treachery. Tobias, a laborer, somehow leading them all. You'll get an army, he said. I swear it. Some semblance of calm swept Layla's face, and Tobias squared his shoulders, carrying her troubles as his own.
Pause, please.
So,
Number one,
yeah.
wait, like recall for me the God part. Why are we using in God's name?
Katie, you poor sweet summer child. There is a god in this world that Layla they worship a god in this world that um theoretically gay that the savior is the like pope
Daughter of?
of essentially of like
Yeah.
the god blessed them. So they use the term god when they're swearing, but none of them are religious. You never pick this up because the work is off, quite anachronistic in its language, so it's not even like that's a world detail. Yeah, it's never explained to you in the first three books. Supposedly there's a sentence at the beginning of one of the books that explains it, but I couldn't find it when I
Why
word
wouldn't you
searched it.
say why in the Savior's name? Like, or something like that. And then also, here we go. He's back to be a laborer, not a exactly.
Yeah.
He just won all these things. Theoretically, he is a champion. So he should be like, and he was a champion, but it was only him and only him alone.
Yeah, and that's something that should be that should be in his thoughts. And it would actually show character growth from the first book, and that he went through the first book becoming coming into this champion role. And he didn't. Also, why is Tobias leading them instead of Layla? Okay, so I
Yes.
noticed that as well. He immediately. The thing is that, and
Because
again,
he's a man.
this is gonna sound uncharitable to Moreci. I think that Moreci is stuck between two things. She wants to be feminist, and she thinks feminism is ladies kill people and do badass stuff. But at the same time, she actually wants Layla, a soft girl who is the
Hmm.
beneficiary of Tobias's mental or constant emotional labor. And the two things don't match. So every once in a while, she just defaults to Tobias being the main character and leading the action. And I don't mean every once in a while. I mean for the first like 2/3 of this book, it's like that. Tobias just automatically takes the lead, and I'm never quite sure why. Um,
Interesting. And then also some semblance of calm. How generic is that?
yeah,
Like, why don't you just say her eyebrows relaxed, and her eyebrows unfurrowed, and her lips relaxed, and he realized that something in there, and then her or maybe fondness. He could see the fondness sweep over. Like, I mean, I'm just pulled this out of
hmm
my ass, but like, it's like he could see the like she, or no, not even not see the fondness. Stop saying it.
well,
Her eyebrows relaxed, her lips relaxed, whatever, and then she touched his arm and patted it or something
yes,
like that.
that would be such a stronger thing, and like an actual action to show it.
Yeah.
Semblance also, this is abstract language. You don't really want abstract
That's what I
language
mean.
usually. Yeah, this is one of the things I'm constantly talking about. Swept is better in terms of being a little bit more
Yeah.
physical, but it's still like this is just kind of hard to focus. Whereas again, like what Katie said, where like she squeezed his hand even or something like that is a much stronger action that makes you realize what's going on. And Tobias squared his shoulders, carrying her troubles as his own. Okay, this is a thing that will constantly be, and I talked about this. She does this thing constantly. Let me go over here, where Moreci will
Oh. Oh, I see.
pair a concrete description with an and then characterize it with an abstract one. So the one that obviously I hated most was sand crunched beneath his sandals, a soft scream as they made his way down the road. So have you ever had sand crunch and thought, oh, that's
And
like
it
a
sounds
soft
like a soft
scream?
scream. What the fuck?
I think she's trying to. In this case, he's gonna go kill some assassins. So I think it's like it's meant
Reflecting that.
to, yeah, reflect that, but it does not make sense. It's like it on such a fundamental level feels hard to. It's ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous thing. Sand cannot sound like a scream. I'm sorry. A
No,
door
at best a
hinge,
whisper. A
a rusty
best a
door
whisper.
hinge could be a scream or a shriek. You know what I mean? A
Or
rusty
like
door hinge.
a loose floorboard that you click you not click that you walk on it. It's like like that works like that, like a meow or something. But no, the best you can get from sand at a vocal level is a whisper because it's like a
Yeah, or maybe like even hiss is going a little too far.
yeah,
Like it's
I would
just not
agree.
a thing. It low key sounds like Chat GPT wrote it. Okay, so the thing is, this was a problem in the first book, so I don't think Marissa used AI, but it
I
does
don't know.
feel like that. It does feel like she did. Again,
You know
I
what's
don't actually
funny
know.
is that what little I've had experience with AI in the creative realm, especially with the students, because they keep trying to cheat and everything.
Hmm
Sorry, I'm distracted by a bite I have. Anyway, I'm gonna put it down. But so with that, I don't even think AI would be that bad. Just uh,
Yeah, no,
I
it's
don't
that's
think
the
it would be
thing.
that bad.
There's an intentionality between how little this makes sense, but it does genuinely feel like Jenna often would just like pick a word that was sort of close in a worm cloud, word cloud, not a worm cloud. What even Bergson, what was it? Oh, it's aimless poetry. Like soft scream sounds vaguely poetic, so it goes in there even though it makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like Moreci what was told, okay, spread your wings and try to write more descriptively, and she was like, I got this, and she
I
didn't got it.
feel also like maybe like I mean this is a big like I'm just like throwing this out there as a supposition. It's almost like you're like give me some really good alliteration. And then
Mm-hmm.
you see some alliteration lists and it's like soft scream or cramped camp or something like that. And she's like, "Yeah, I like the way that sounds. Copy paste
Iced.
and I
Yeah.
like it with the sand because it's sand soft scream so it sounds like
Honestly,
and
I
that
just wish
works
she
for
had.
me."
I wish she had checked like a thesaurus, because they will tell you what the connotations of it are,
Yeah.
and she would
Oh,
realize it doesn't really work there.
wait, Will just brought up a really great point though. Maybe she's like the big problem here is that she is missing the connotative things rather than just using pure denotative things, just for the sake of her trying to be creative, but she's not considering the connotations involved with these things, which is negligent at best.
The snow yelped under my feet. I don't know how, but it did. Yeah, it's kind of like, the thing is, if you dialed it up a little bit more, it would actually be funny and in a parody kind of way. But it's like that. It just doesn't make any sense. All right. A
Yelp.
couple
Wait, wait.
of others
Stan
since
let
we're
out a
here now.
fart when he walked. Everybody, guys.
So like another one, for example, is she eyed the tall red doors. Each wooden slat a stream of blood, and her mouth went dry. So that one is closer to being good, but like a wooden, it doesn't quite make sense because a stream of blood is more of a liquidy thing than a door is. If it was more like the red varnish, the tall red doors, wood varnished, thickly varnished and glittering in the sun, a stream of blood, not glittering in the sun, but you know what I mean. If she's focused in on the varnish of it as like kind of a liquidy thing, but a stream of blood doesn't work for just wood.
No, 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 no. Like, so clearing her throat, she marched up the stone steps to the villa. She eyed the tall red doors, each glossy with the varnish of the, and then like put some world building stuff in there, almost as if each wooden slat was slicked with a stream of blood brushed across it. Like, or something like that. Like where you're like, oh, it's a lacquered level because then it really paints a picture of that spit. Like Will just said, like wood won't
Hmm.
just magically look that way. So, but if it's a lacquer and it's shiny, then like it could then at the very least look like it would be even cool because then you can even make an allusion to like biblical stuff with the whole lamb's blood and you could like if that's what it had to do with like unless you're just throwing this out but then again
Yeah.
like part of
So
my
DFM Afton says, she eyed the tall red doors, each slat bloody with fresh paint, and her mouth went
yes
dry. Much better. Much better.
much
Because again,
better
you're tying in the actual like well, the connotations of wet, or stream, a stream.
yes
So
exactly
it's just one of those things. Also, Flame said, they have no mouth yet they scream. That's very funny. Man. Also, we're almost up to 300 viewers. We're at 277. That's
I
the
well I
most
hope
we've
we
ever had
provide
for
some
a
good
live
insight.
stream. I mean, I think maybe the title I picked was a little.
What did you wait what was
Oh,
the title?
Jenny Moreci is bad at writing. Savior's Army Prose Breakdown.
Oh wow.
That's right. And I don't know if you saw the thumbnail, but actually go look up the thumbnail real quick.
I saw the thumbnail. You picked the worst faces for us.
No, you look so in pain, and that's exactly how we feel. I knew it was gonna be happy. Okay. Some other ones. Muggy with fire blossomed in Tobias's chest, but he rooted himself to the ground, festering in the flames. So festering here is just the
Festering.
wrong word because we have a
Yeah.
fire metaphor, and festering is a rotting thing.
What did I say about the alliteration shit? She keeps doing it. She keeps doing it for some
Festering in the flames.
reason.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Fire, because fire and then festering in flames. She's like, yeah, but I like the way it sounds, so I don't want to change it. And it's just like, fire blossomed in Tobias, but he rooted. Wait, 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 wait. Fire in his chest seems like passion.
I think in this case it's anger.
Okay, that works. So, I would rather just say fury. Like, just say
Yeah.
fury. Because fire is ambiguous to me. And fury blossomed in his chest, but he rooted himself in the ground. Wait, what could we use instead of festering with an F word? How about,
Fanning. No.
No. Fanning the
I
flames
just
within himself to make it stronger or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's something where like just festering though does not match here. You can't start a fire metaphor and then go to a rotting metaphor.
Yeah, that
Oh,
doesn't
this
really
is
make
another one
sense.
of my faves. Trailing kisses along her ivory flesh while his hands trek down to her thighs. Trekked. You know, the word that has the connotation of, yeah, walking, but it's hard and you're kind of not that happy about it. You're trekking. Yeah. Like Katie said, oh, yeah. Oh, he's got a backpack as he goes down her thigh. Like, what are we doing? Why? How did you pick that word? Do you. I said this in the review, but this is something where like someone who is ESL might make mistakes like this, understandably,
Yes.
because English is not their first language, and there's a lot of connotations words have that you just don't get if you don't
Trailing
under
kisses along
you aren't
her
born into
ivory flesh
language.
while his hands. Uh, I mean, Trek down's not
Ivory.
the worst of her offenses, first of all. But none.
No,
That being
Trekt
said,
is well, but it's just completely.
well, it sounds like
It's
hard
completely
work.
wrong.
The thing is when you trek, it's a hike. So the problem there is that
Yeah.
it's difficult.
So
Yeah,
having sex with
exactly.
Layla is hard work. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Star trekking down her throat, also good.
what about
Thighs.
what trailing? Why didn't he trail his fingers down her thighs first of all? How about
Slide.
like littering kisses along her, or like trail um following the beat of her heart. Oh, I don't know, whatever. But like the point is switch it around, and then instead of trek down to her thighs, why not fluttering? If you want to use like your fingers flutter, or like usually when I'm gripping my man's thighs, I'm like
Okay,
bringing it
Katie.
down.
This is a Christian podcast. I'm
No, it's
ESL,
not.
and I don't think it happens at this level. It more so happens with simple words, funnily enough. I mean, the thing is, I think you can get there as an ESL person. Like, I don't think it's impossible.
Oh
Ellen, for
look,
example, doesn't speak English natively, but she's incredibly good at writing.
I like planting
Planting
kisses
kisses.
because it's like mwah, like a seed. Mwah, mwah. Like it's like
Yeah,
you're
that
putting a
planting
seed in
isn't
each
bad.
place.
Yeah. I actually think she meant trail, but must have. That
Oh
actually is
no.
really fun. But here's the thing: she had beta readers, she had critique partners, she had an editor. This should have been caught. It's bizarre that it wasn't. Oh, a battle cry in calming waters. That's the other one.
Yeah. Wait.
The people chant in unison. The people chant in unison. A battle cry washing over Tobias like calming waters.
No, 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 like a torrent. Like, because it's supposed to empower him, not calm him.
Yeah. I mean, it just you can't a battle cry washing over Tobias. You can't like calming waters. And I mean, in this case, it's like he was being tortured, and they're like stop torturing him, kind of sense. But like even then, calming waters is not. They don't. A battle cry does not wash over you. It just the battle cry is loud. It can't calm you by washing. It could like again the connotations of these words are incorrect.
Wait, a battle cry washing over him like a rising wave or something. Like, yeah, you see what I
Yeah,
mean? Surging through him. That's great. Surging through
surging is
him.
better. Him, buoying him like a racing wave. These are all things that are like closer. How is a battle
Yeah.
cry calming? What? Yeah, that's basically it. Isn't a battle cry something specifically not to calm you? Yes, that is
Yes.
actually a really good point. This also was just weird. The room felt quiet, though it was stilted. How is it quiet?
That's the
How is it
worst
quiet?
one yet. That is actually genuinely the worst
Yeah.
one, technically.
Here, let me
Though it
look
was
up a thesaurus
stilted.
real quick. Stilted is
Oh, that means stuttering. It means it's going
uh,
and stopping, going and stopping.
yeah, stiff, lacking ease, often pompous or awkward. It suggests a lack of natural flow, and that just doesn't how silence works. You could theoretically be like it's kind of a better word would be like uncertain. Maybe could be kind
The
of
room
one
fell
or
quiet, though the no. Instead of saying, well, first of all, she already ruined it by saying though, and by a comparison. Just say the room fell quiet. Period. There was like the atmosphere felt like I'm again pulling out of my ass, but it's like the atmosphere that well, sort of. The atmosphere was heavy, and the anger, like describe the
Mhm.
feelings that seemed to be buzzing in the room.
To be honest, yeah, no, I agree. That part of it is okay. So one of the things I actually look for, and we'll talk about this. The room slipped into uneasy silence. Very nice. Very
Simple, so
nice.
simple.
Yeah, no, it's simple and it's much more descriptive. So one of the things is I had looked for examples of writers who do this well, where they have a concrete action and then they pair it with an abstract description. of that action, but I couldn't. So in Wolf Hall, though, by I forget what her name is. It's a wonderful book, though. They do more of the kind of abstract language. So I kind of want to show how that can work, how you can bring
Yeah.
abstract language into your work. So, for example, in this first chapter, they are taking apart the cardinal's house. Room by room, the king's men are stripping York Place of its owner. They are
I
bundling
remember
up
this
parchments and
scene.
scrolls, missiles and memoranda, and the volumes of his personal accounts. They are taking even the ink and the quills. They are prying from the walls the boards on which the cardinal's coat of arms is painted. So, we have a lot of very specific language afterwards, though. But either way, stripping York Place of its owner. That is a kind of abstract way of describing um, what's going on. But
Yeah.
stripping is such a good word for it. It's such a good adjective. Adverb. Guys, I have trouble with grammar. We've talked about this before. Adverb.
Bro, shut. Stop it. Will, you're just screwed with us. It's a verb, everybody, and he knows it.
Maybe. But like it's such a strong one, and the stripping of its owner. It is a much better example of that. Where was the other one? Oh, okay. Here's another one. They bring out the cardinal's vestments, his coats, stiff coats. I think that's supposed to be stiff with embroidery, strewn with pearls, encrusted with gemstones. They seem to stand by themselves. The raiders knock down each one as if they are knocking down Thomas Becket. They itemize it, and having reduced it to its knees and broken its spine, they toss it into the traveling crates.
That's so good.
So we have here okay, so here's the thing, guys. I'm a little bad at describing these things, which is one of the reasons I like to do these streams, actually, is because it makes me
Wait, real
better.
quick.
It ups my game. But
Oh, can you clarify real quick for this one? Stripping of its owner sounds like evicting someone to me. They are evicting him, aren't they?
Yeah. They're evicting
Yeah.
him from York Place, but the thing about it is that it is kind of the main character doesn't like it. He doesn't like that they're doing this. It's an unjust thing. So a lot of the language is built
So it feels like
around them.
ransacking.
Even here,
even though
yeah, even here he uses the term raiders here. So that's how it's supposed to be characterized. But okay, so he starts up. She, because it's an off the wrist. She brings up this idea that they're so stiff they seem to stand. So you're like, oh, that's the metaphor. Their stand. But then she continues it. They're knocking it down, and we understand they're not literally knocking down these things, but abstractly the image continues, the metaphor, as if they are knocking down Thomas Becket. They having reduced it to its knees and broken its spine. And the other thing is that's such a clear mental image, much more so than soft screaming. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that fits the metaphor that's been set up here.
Yeah, it's because it's a coat or whatever, right? So it's like it's clothing. So it's the outline of a body. So of course, if it's so stiff that it almost stands by itself, it kind of has a spiritual spine to it because of all of the all the things on the piece of clothing represent the success of the previous owner, and they're stripping him of it. So they're breaking his honor, his pride, and his spine. So it's like taking it out. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very true. Stripping in general is a far more evoking word to use rather than ransacking or evicting.
Because stripping is like...
Well, this is what I'm always talking about, too. It's a more concrete word and a less an abstract one, and concrete tends to make things easier to picture. I can't believe you're going to pile the cock wrenches behind Apollo when you read the sex scenes. I haven't even decided which ones we're going to do, but yeah, for those who haven't shown up, tomorrow me and Katie, exclusively for Patreon, you can join if you're a book club member, are going to critique the sex scenes in the book. Here's another simple one, but you can see that it works better. So, he's prepared to stand and argue the point. Have I missed something? This palace belongs to the Archdiocese of York. When was Lady Anne made an archbishop?
Go down, because the way it looks visually, it looks like you're highlighting the wrong area. Just click on that next paragraph for us, so that way we can follow along easier. Yeah. It's not that one, is it? It's the next one.
Oh, you're right. I'm dumb.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. It was confusing for me for a moment. So
this
go
is
ahead.
a problem I have a lot more. I'm dumb. So, can we just talk about how that's kind of slyly funny? When was Lady Anne made an archbishop? Because it's Anne Boleyn's going to be taking this over, and he's like, it belongs to the church. Did they make her one? Like, again, that's kind of slyly funny in a way that Moreci will never be, because she would write it as, when did Lady Anne gain a cock and become part of the cock brotherhood of cock priests. Yeah, no. I mean, she literally would do
I've
something
already
like
seen
that.
her do that. I've already seen her do that.
Yeah, stupid. But the tide of men flooding in by the water stairs is sweeping them away. So here we have just a very simple. Again, this is simple. This isn't showy, but it works. Flooding, sweeping, tide, flooding, sweeping. All things having to do with water. All things that make sense. Um, Also, in this case, it's a very nice way of kind of describing it flows well from where it was. He was prepared to argue, but and then the next sentence starts with why he can't. So it flows very nicely one from the other. Not that can't necessarily. Holy shit, that's exactly how she write it.
Mm-hmm.
Lol, you're obviously yeah.
Yeah.
It's really true, and I mean, and for reference, some authors would as well. Martin also likes to make dick jokes a little bit too much. The real problem with Moreci is not just that it's her only mode of writing funny is to talk about dicks. It's not funny in any other way. When they go, Wolsey turns and hugs him, his face gleeful, though it is the last of their victories, and they know it. It is important to show ingenuities. I liked this because though it is the last of their victories and they know it, it's just a good turn of phrase. It's abstract, but it is at the same time very specific. And I think that's and again, I couldn't find something that was exactly concrete and
Well,
abstract, but this kind of has one where he's concretely turning and hugging him, his face gleeful, but it's also describing the motion. It is the last of their victories, and they know it.
you know what I really like though is the grammar here. When they go to Wolsey,
Wolsey.
turns and hugs him, his face gleeful. Period. Okay, I like that. With the pause and everything, it you can see the motion very easily with that. Though so it's a comparison again. Like in the situation,
Mm-hmm.
why is he gleeful? Well, it is the last of their victories, and they know it. It is important to show ingenuity, to show cleverness. Semicolon to redefine what came previously. 24 hours is worth buying when the king is so changeable. Besides, comma, they enjoyed it. Like the cadence, you can hear the
The
cadence of the
Kanan is
voice of the
gorgeous.
author.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, and Ellen mentioned this when she was reading the Savior's Armies, there's very little flow. And the whole thing doesn't flow well, the prose and really the story. But like that's such a hard thing to quantify. I didn't think we could do it in a public live stream very well. But also, Elishka says, also with Jenna's descriptions, the abstract description is that it reads like she's trying to one up the previous line instead of adding on like with Wolf Hall. Like Jenna doesn't trust her own
Yeah.
work. Yes. Yes.
That's a
That is 1,000% what
wonderful
it
way
is.
of looking at it too. Yeah, that makes sense. Again, that goes with our purple prose between concrete language thing. Like it's almost like she's like, "Wait, let me impress you real quick with my really good ingenuity when it comes to words." And then it's like, "Well, but then let's very quickly go back and instead of building on that scene's image."
The sand screamed beneath her feet like a man would have just stepped on his cock.
I think
Um,
people know her very well. Wow.
That's like Suffolk. To think the letter of the law is some kind of luxury. That's just a very nice little turn of phrase. It also helps characterize I don't
Oh,
know,
the
I forget the main
alliteration
character's
there.
name, and that he does care about law a lot. But yeah, and that's how you use alliteration well.
It's
Cromwell, I've been told.
Cromwell. That's like Suffolk. Now, while that's not alliteration, that's something else. You still get the L sound. And then again, the semicolon, lovely usage of it. To think of the letter of the law is some kind of luxury. Like, it sounds decadent as you say it like that, which is the way it's supposed to be read, like some kind of luxury. Oh,
King Armistice says, "What is this Wolf Hall thing? I want to read it now." It is a book called Wolf Hall about Oliver Cromwell. We did a video on it on the channel, though it did very poorly because Thomas Cromwell. And I'm being corrected by somebody off screen. The thing about it is that it is really good. You should read it. It was great. We loved it. It's and the writing is so gorgeous. What? Tobias, sorry, Tobias trudged across the sand as always. It chanted, and I always listen to the sense beneath his feet.
that That's funny. See, if she
That's
did
really
something
funny.
like that, that would be funny.
That feels like a Terry Pratchett thing
It
almost.
does. Like,
Like
that's
it's a very British
genuinely
humor
funny. Good
thing.
job.
Yeah. I don't write as well as Wolf Darn. I need to. I mean, nobody does. I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, I should have said this earlier, but like, I am comparing her prose to some of the best prose that I have read, in terms of like Wolf Hall. But I don't necessarily expect her to get this good, but she needs to be better than she is. And also, I wanted to do it to elucidate to you guys what's wrong with the writing. I often think that people don't point out. Well, I think arguments are unclear if you don't show their way to do
Yes.
something well as a contrast.
A more concrete understanding of why don't you like it.
Mm-hmm. And actually, okay, so this is a good example here. They settled their campsite, pouring dirt over the
Wait,
cinders and
where are
fashioning
you?
pillows out of lumpy satchels.
Where are
Oh,
you?
sorry, I forgot to. So we're gonna go back here. So one of the biggest problems with this book is that there is no real description of what's going on. So let's look at from the beginning. We have the campfire crackled, broadleaf tree. Okay, campfire crackled. I'm gonna mark these in blue, shrouded by broadleaf trees in the opposing darkness of night. Okay, so far
Okay.
these are our only real descriptions. I mean, there's also a campfire over here, but no description of of what place they are in. No. Okay, they settled their campsite, pouring dirt over the cinders and fashioning pillows out of some piece. Leaned against a fallen log, looking into the woods. Okay, that's it. Stories of his flaying strings, his swiftly improving fighting abilities. My brother and the next sovereign. Do you love her? I want to hear your romance from start to finish. A grand bliss. I'm not okay. So
It doesn't
there
say
has been
anything
like
else.
no real description of where
The
they
setting.
are as a place, as a setting. And it's funny because there's a chapter later where they go to like a Venice mask and like she actually lists some stuff that's going like in the environment and all of a sudden it feels 1,000% more
Concrete. Like it's a real
grounded.
place.
This is one thing Martin is actually extremely good at doing, though sometimes he talks about food too much. Leagues away, in a one room hut of mud and straw with a thatched roof and a smoke hole and a floor of hard-packed earth, Vermeer shivered and coughed and licked his lips. So already, and you don't even see, again, it doesn't even take a lot, but we have one room hut of wood and straw with a thatched roof and a smoke hole and a floor of hard-packed earth. He's breaking the rule of threes to make it a rule of fours to give you a sense of kind of going onward.
Place. Yeah.
Uh,
Wait. You know what would have also been really good to use is just Scorpio races in that one scene we've already done a million times because that's a great environmental scene.
Yeah, I wanted to do this because it's a little bit more. I didn't think of
Succinct.
that, but also because well, it's also like yeah, it's succinct. That's one of the things Martin is really good at, is being succinct in his prose, unless he's talking about the Iron Islands or Dorne. The air smelled of mold and damp. The ground was cold and hard, and his fire was giving off more smoke than heat.
Ah, perfect. You can
He's also
already picture
utilizing
it.
rule of threes here. Yeah, that's one thing Martin is really good at doing is he uses short sentences and rules of threes that are easy to picture and give you a sense of. You don't even necessarily need a ton, but you need some, and she gives you almost none. What kind of a wood is this? I guess there's fallen logs and it's a broadleaf. Doesn't help me. Is this kind of like an alpine wood? Are there
Well, you know what
banyan
would have been
trees?
nice?
What's going?
And also, what the thing that she's neglecting is how the scene, the physical scene, can reflect the internal scene itself. And so, let's say they're in a swamp. I'm picturing. So you know, like in have you ever seen the movie? What's it called? The Patriot or whatever. And it's with like Mel Gibson or I don't. It's not Mel Gibson, but it's like somebody like that. And
Yeah, no,
you
it's
know,
Mel Gibson.
okay, cool. You know the scene where they're like in the swamp and they're like hiding out there and everything,
hmm
and it reflects how they have to use guerrilla tactics and hide in the swamps and stuff. So it's the same thing here. So and we're even talking about like them being rebels basically. And so why not
Yeah.
describe the real bad conditions that they're within and just say it's a wet night, like make it miserable for them, like build on it, say the
No,
rain sputtered down and like
you're
a good
completely
use of sputtered.
it's completely true in that an environment should mirror what you want the characters to be feeling in that moment. That's what she's
Yeah,
trying to do when she says the sand soft screen is filter the environment through the eyes of through the viewpoint of the
the
character.
character.
But so even here he goes. He moved as close to the flames as he dared, coughing and shivering by turns,
Switch.
his side throbbing where his wound had opened. Blood had soaked his breeches to the knee and dried into a hard brown crust. crunchy details, as somebody here said. But also, like, that is so much more engagement with the environment than Tobias just laying down. And Tobias, let's remember, is wounded here. He says
Oh, I
this. This
see
is
it.
actually almost a good direct. Tobias leaned against a fallen log, looking out into the woods. The bandages wrapping his torso pulled. It surprised him how little the laceration on his back hurt, until he remembered the ball of healing light in his lap. Layla nestled against his cheek, eyes closed, his black
Chest, yes.
cloak slung over them both like a blanket. So there could have been description here of like it hurts a lot because he's against a log that is, scratchy or something like that. It's not integrated into the scene.
Facing from the others, Tobias leaned against sorry, I'm just processing real quick. Leaned against a fallen log. You know what? Wait. Hold on a second.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just going to be frank. I mean, again, nitpicky, but the log has fallen. How big is this log that he can lean against it?
I mean,
it's not tall enough for him to lean against. You know what I mean? He would sit on it.
I mean, I think maybe he's leaning his back against it.
Oh, so is he sitting? Does it say they're sitting?
No, but they settled their campsite.
But that's
you're actually right. No, I'd imagine it actually is unclear of whether it does kind of sound now that you're saying
because
it,
the way
like
I'm picturing it, right? I'm picturing there's a log right here, right? And like he's standing, but he's leaning against. So I'm picturing him like,
yeah,
like
so
you know,
funny. Yeah, it could have been. It should have been a little bit clearer. A description, in my opinion, should always be notable on either context or contrast. If it's not, it shouldn't be written. But with Jenna's stuff, there's neither. Nothing that stands out or has personal connotations. Yeah, descriptions have to serve double duty as both helping you picture what's going on, but also telling you a story.
Yes.
Hold on. I want to go up because there was a really good comment about
Savior's entire world dressing.
Well, I think what helps that Wolf Hall's prose are more interconnected than
that's what you were saying
Jenna's. Before. Okay. And the thing that jumps out at me is that Wolf Hall's prose has a texture, a mouthfeel, and Moreci's prose just doesn't really. Yeah, there is mouthfeel is a really good word for it. You say it and it feels in your mouth
it's pretty.
a certain way, and it's a texture. And yeah, in a way that, and again, Moreci does not need to reach the heights of Wolf Hall. But she needs to be a little bit better. And also, there are also ways that authors can be better and worse. Oh, hey,
thank
just
you.
Orange. It's a joy to catch you guys live. Yeah, thanks.
And all of you guys who have said that previously, we've just been talking and I didn't want to interrupt him or me, I'm sure. But yes, thank you. I'm really glad you guys were able to make it. On a side note, settled their campsite, what does that even mean? If you are not a camper, what does that mean? I would love to know. I mean, I know.
Okay, to be fair, a little bit here, pouring dirt over the cinders and fashioning pillows out of lumpy satchels. She does kind of.
Oh, it does say it afterwards.
Yeah, I just kind of zipped through it as the thing because I wanted to get to the other part.
But why even say they settled the campsite? Just say they poured. But
there's also.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, but also she could have just said, instead of saying, like, I mean, again, nitpicky, but just say, or better yet, they settled their campsite, pouring the dirt over the cinders. He did this and that and that. And his mother fashioned pillows out of the lumpy satchels while his sister did this and this and that. He did this and this and that. Well, because then the point of saying this, well, not just that. This allows her the opportunity to show the characters interacting with each other physically and maybe even characterize their relationships with each other thus far because we're catching up. So maybe like Layla goes to help mom and mom's like, get off me or whatever the heck, like, or gives her a glare. It's an opportunity to build the character relationships and she's just glazing over it.
It's true. There could be like little in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms that we had just watched, there's this moment where there's a flashback to the main character who was a squire for this elderly knight.
Yeah.
Who like is mostly comic relief, and you don't really hear a lot about their relationship. There's a small thing where there's a montage, and there's a part where they're both, because they're poor, they're huddling under a tree while it's raining, and Donk, the younger guy, he cuts up some feet and he just hands it to his mentor, and his mentor eats it while he's also eating his. And like that's just such a small interaction, but it tells you so much about the intimacy between them in terms of like we are past the point where we need words like this. Like we're just doing the thing, like we're husband and wifing almost. Like and a little thing like that can go a really long way. Or in Shogun, there's a part where when the two, the love interest and the main guy, he helps her off the floor, and she puts her hand over his hand in a way that's so intimate, despite being such a small
Yeah.
detail. I'm going back to these because these are just ones that I remember. And obviously they're visual ones, but like those small interactions can tell you a huge amount. And the thing is, humans are social animals. We understand very small subtleties in interactions because we needed to survive in a social structure. So
Yeah.
even very minor details can really, our brains will pick up on and go, okay, this is what's going on.
Oh, wait,
Um,
wait, wait. We have a comment I want to address. Honestly, I don't get it. Usually you complain about people over explaining. For me, this is one of the few quoted scenes that seem to work. It is actually one of the few quoted scenes that does work. Absolutely. But we're nitpicking it. So, like,
no,
and
so
okay, fair
no,
enough.
so
I
here's
was being
here's what
kind.
I was gonna say. No, here's what I would say. Just because we mostly complain about things being over explained, even though I'm not really sure that's true. In this case, there needs to be more physicality and small things that explain it to you, again, in a somewhat subtle way. So, like if Naomi and her mother held hands while they were sleeping, like Naomi reached over and
Yeah.
held her mother's hand,
That they're
and her mother
scared and
wrapped her
they're
other hand
gathering.
around her. Yeah,
Yeah.
that tells you it's a sentence, and it tells you so much about them without saying Naomi comforted their mother by or my own Naomi comforted her mother, and a semblance of calm washed over her mother's face.
Well,
Fucking terrible.
yeah, but real quick, pause. I just want to also add, you never, when it comes to like creative writing, there are some things that are needed, but really it's a matter of what can you do to make the scene pack the biggest punch and make it really impressive in one way or another. Not just like action or words, like it has meaning in it, right? It's not just dead space because the biggest thing that I've learned through writing and also reading is that everything must have a Chekhov's gun. It must have a reason, which is the original like delineation I think
Yes.
of that definition is that everybody must have a reason for saying something and doing something because at the end of the day, this all must have a meaning because why else even put it? And so in this moment, it's it's a neglected scene because it's a wonderful scene. First of all, it's slowed down, so it's a great opportunity to describe how have these relationships changed in the time that we have been missing from these characters. How can it's a catch-up scene, right? It's the first
Mm-hmm.
chapter, just as was stated earlier by many people and us. It's a catch-up scene. So in this moment, what would have been I would have liked to have learned in this moment is just okay, so they're meeting Layla, the savior. Aren't they
Mm-hmm.
a little intimidated by her? Aren't they a little fearful of her? Wouldn't they grovel a little bit? Or if not, why not in the interim and show us that through dialogue and
Mm-hmm.
action? So just you need to, like again, if you give me a lump of clay and it has a general shape, sure. Is it art? Qualify it as art, but is it
Mm-hmm.
good art? Questionable. However, if you make a beautiful like curvature of like, you're doing the
A
the
woman.
the pottery
Right. Yeah.
and you have the things and the swirls and shit, then you're like, "Wow, look at the character in this pottery." That's what we're
Yeah.
looking for in the
No,
writing.
it's a really good point. Elisha says there's a difference between over-explaining and overstating. Overstating doesn't inherently have to be bad. Over-explaining tends to lead more to not trusting the reader.
Yeah.
Because the person who initially said is Will usually complains about a lot of things not adding to a story in general cosmetic reviews. So I actually think this is a micro versus a macro issue. In that, on a macro level, yeah, you kind of need to make your story more very streamlined and effective. Like don't go off and describe a bunch of things that don't matter to the story. That's just not what we're doing here. But here, a sentence of description of how these characters work, because also this is the beginning of the story, would add a lot. So again, I think it's more of a micro versus macro.
I'm just reading the
Let's
comments.
see. My door.
Yeah, wait,
Uh,
Bratty the scribe or something like that. Um the people of Thesson are hilariously aloof and couldn't give a shit about the savior, the woman who saved their land. I would agree.
I mean, this is a fundamental problem that goes back to the middle grade theme of the Savior's Champion, which is that you shouldn't judge people by their stations in life. You should judge them by who they are, just as people. Okay, so
Wait.
I wanted to go to another part. This is where Layla and Tobias. Layla has gone off on a hill and she's being moody, and Tobias goes after her. Okay. Tobias's nerves settled. Guys, do you think this is a good Tobias voice, by the way? Because this is, I think it really encaptures his soul. Tobias' nerves settled. Rate me 1 out of 10 in the chat right now. Tobias' nerves settled. He'd only just escaped the tournament yesterday, and its impact was a fresh wound cutting through his psyche. Shaking the visions aside, he yawned and stretched his aching muscles. His watch had ended early in the morn, and Layla had insisted he rest. I can protect your family. Or no, shit, this is her. I can protect your family.
No, stop it.
Guilt had laced her words,
I
but
can
he'd
protect
yielded,
your
managing a few measly hours of sleep. Layla. His mother was off to the side of the campsite, whittling wood in silence, but no Layla. There. She stood on a distant hillside, gazing out at whatever loomed ahead. He heaved a silent sigh of relief. She's been standing there for a while now, Nomi said. I think she's overwhelmed. I'll talk to her. The back of Layla's black cloak. By the way, how have people been rating me? 11 out of 10, 11, 2, 10 out of 10. Okay, so far. I want to see some more ratings. There's 300 people in this chat.
295.
I would like to get to at least 30 ratings on my voices. Okay. The back of Layla's black cloak was pointed his way. Her bright white hands balled at her sides. His eyes had already adjusted to her light, but his mind was still turning it over. You hadn't a clue she was the savior, Naomi said. Tobias shook his head. Not at all. It met his sister's gaze openly for her to purse her lips, an eyebrow raised. What? She's glowing, Tobias. Or no, oops. What? She's glowing, Tobias. She wasn't glowing back during the tournament. She disappeared into the black clouds. Tobias sighed. It was all very complicated. She heals wounds with her hat. Okay, I'm going to stop doing voices because I actually kind of got bad at it. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 8.5. Okay, these are pretty good. Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. You guys showed up. I appreciate that. But anyway, I'm going to go back to reading. She heals hands with her hands, and off I go. Tobias stood, brushing the dirt from his ass before marching past the woods as the
Wait, did it say
sunlight
ass?
and the whole of Pheasant exceeded before him. Yeah, it's, I don't know.
Where
She's
is that?
weird about
Wait, show me. Where does it say he brushed dirt from his ass? Stop it! Why are we doing this? Why are we? He brushed dirt from his pants.
Weird.
Why are we saying ass randomly? That's so bizarre.
The seat of his harem pants would probably be the way to do it. So he goes, and the beaming light rayed around her, pulsing like a heartbeat. Darling, are you all right? Layla's shoulders rose and fell as she let out a breath. It's just, this is my realm. I've never seen it before. It's so beautiful. A beautiful realm for a beautiful queen. Tobias wrapped his arms around her, waist, you don't regret it, do you? So they talk like a little bit, and then they start bantering here. He grinned against her mouth. Now that I know the Sovereign's tournament was your competition, I have a bone to pick with you. You have no idea what I went through to qualify. Layla rolled her eyes. Oh, please. I'm serious. They examined me. Naked. You look quite handsome naked. They measured my cock. Your cock is quite handsome, too. Layla fluttered her eyelashes. I had to masturbate into a cup. Layla nearly started. You what? I think I speak clearly. She tilted her head back, exploding into laughter. It's funny when men are sexually assaulted, by the way.
Why?
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, this is not funny, first of all. And the second part is, even if it, like, whatever, why is she shocked that he had to do that? Then what was the purpose of that?
I actually don't remember. It was pretty dumb. You're laughing, he scoffed. It was terrible. You're being incredibly insensitive right now. Her
Even
lips
he knows.
collided with his, which makes me think she went, but whatever. And she laced her arms around his neck. Was I worth it? I'd do it again 1,000 times. You'd masturbate into a cup 1,000 times? You know what I mean. He chuckled. I know your circumstances are trying, but for the first time in so long, I'm happy because you're mine.
Wait.
What? Brontes tastes. I mean,
Oh God, this is just like her original dialogue. Her dialogue is so bad. Like it's
she's
cringy.
really, yeah, she's really bad at banter, and it's funny because she thinks dialogue is one of her real strengths. Because she's like, oh, you know, my descriptions and prose aren't great, but I'm so good at dialogue. And it's like, are you though? Are you?
Yeah, wait a second. Also this, by the way, I masturbated into cup and then my best friend got squashed. Like exactly,
Indiana Jones
like
style.
it's are we forgetting? Like okay, so again, a great thing. Like if this genre is comedy, you need to stick with the comedy tropes, just the tropes, obviously, otherwise that's cliche, but within the realm of what the comedy expects. Like, for example, red shirts. In red shirts, there's a lot of horrible things that happen, but it does have
Hmm.
weight and gravitas to it, which is redundant, but whatever. But the point is like it's timed well. This is not. It doesn't seem appropriate
Yeah,
considering.
the tonal whiplash is one of the biggest problems with the book. You don't remember because you didn't watch the review, but there's a part where Layla is in the dark, deep, dark night of the soul, realizing her friends have been on the run, and she's like, "No, we gotta bring you back." And then there's that's the end of this chapter, and then the next chapter starts with the holy deity of Thesson was sucking its cock. Literally, that's the not maybe not the line. No, I think that is the line.
She's
I
sucking
don't know.
someone's dick.
She's stuck in Tobias's, because it's from Tobias's point of view. And those are right after each other. And then there's also one where they're in a slave ship. She has been sexually threatened multiple times. There's a bunch of miserable slaves in the hold of this ship who are being sold off as property. And she's like, you know, it'd be funny if I got these two gay guys to flirt. And she's the tonal whiplash in this book is real crazy, because again, I don't think she has a theory
It's
of
like
line.
offensive, actually, in a weird way. Like it's offensive. Can we? Shall we? Are we gonna look at
Well,
like
so
that?
basically, I just wanted to show this part. They talk a little more. He goes, a familiar smile spread across her lips, and suddenly the awareness of her light wasn't quite so unusual. She was still the same woman, somewhat tall in stature, with full lips and upturned eyes, canopied by thick lashes. Um, so this moment, right? The point of the scene is that he was a little bit wary because now he knows she's the savior, and then he goes, no, 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 this is still the woman I know. But the problem is he is bantering with her like the woman he knows before he has this realization.
I
Only at
know.
this point. So these should be switched. It should be they banter like this, though hopefully not about Cox, after this point to show. And that's kind of the thing is that that's how a lot of the scenes, scene to scene, don't build well because Moreci just seems to
It's out of
be
order.
kind of off when it comes to the pacing of it.
I worked with somebody before. I've mentioned this person before, but I worked with their writing before, but they were genuinely from another country. So, and they only like they knew English secondary. And so I think that they did a pretty good job considering that. But giving that in mind, this is the same problem that they had. They kept accidentally putting the scene sequence
Mm-hmm.
in the wrong order that made sense. So I would just copy and paste in a different order and then restructure their sentences to make it work. But Jenna Moreci doesn't have that excuse, honestly. And after writing
No,
a best-selling book, she should be. It just see this is where I'm getting at the irresponsibility at a certain point where it's like, dude, like, do you not want to get better at writing,
this is less fiction and more self care.
journaling?
It's more self care. It
Um,
really it feels a lot like that. I mean, there's a bunch of problems. Okay, so we've been going for probably about an hour on the actual
yeah.
talking about writing part, maybe a little bit more. We probably have time to do one more topic. So do you guys want to do action scenes? That was one I had kind of prepped a bit. Again, we're going to do sex scenes tomorrow in the critique stream. That will be exclusive on our Patreon. Join our book club tier if you would like to see that and be live. And or so you guys want to see action scenes right now, or do you want to see a scene from the Savior Sister, which is a SA scene that Moreci does not think is one, and is very adamant is not.
Also, can we please before we do move on to that, can we compare since we just discussed banter? Can we like just switch to that one little quick copy
Hmm?
paste I did,
But
just
real
as an
quick,
example?
but yeah, you guys do that because we probably I wanted to do both, but we probably only have time for one.
It seems
Show
so
the scene where
far
she
is
gets the two gay
action.
guys to make out. I want both of them. It's Cosima, isn't it?
They
Yeah, it
want
is.
action, I think.
Let's see. Save all the sexual stuff for next time. I didn't know that. This is not cool. Yeah, it's Cosima. I would go with the action scene. I say I'm to another beast entirely.
Action seems the most safest. Everybody wants the action instead.
Okay, all right. I've been wanting to go over the essay scene because I think it shows actually a ton
Her
of
disconnect.
yeah, her disconnect here. I will
Um,
I will show this so that you can talk about
yes,
it if you
please.
wanted to.
And real quick, guys,
Well,
I
I
don't
look for
have
other
a
stuff.
physical copy of the book, so I just copy pasted like a very popular quote, but it's just a good example, I think, of like a difference between enjoyment of discourse. Um, Real quick, it's the part, not the first one, but good, although it is a great line. But Gideon was experiencing one powerful emotion, being sick of everyone's shit. I mean, that's like out of context, it's not as pungent as it is in the within the other stuff going on. But the next part, Nona Gesimus, she said slowly, the only job I'd do for you would be if you wanted someone to hold the sword as you fell on it. The only job I'd do for you would be if you wanted your ass kicked so hard the locked tomb opened and a parade came out to sing, Lo, a destructed ass. The only job I'd do be if you wanted me to spot you while you backflipped off the top tier into Deirdre. That's 3 jobs, said Harahark.
So some people are a little annoyed by Gideon's the Knight's writing and style, but I find it really funny. In that it's quite clever, and it uses a lot of the more
Or explaining the
uh
difference in banter.
yeah. Oh, very quickly, just because I don't really have another place to share this, and I forgot to show it. They're talking about uh how Tobias used to be real skinny when he was young. Naomi's telling Layla about this. Naomi smiled. Girls didn't notice him much. He's always had a handsome face, but we lived in a village filled with the workman sort. Lots of impressively built men, and there was Tobias, all skin and bones. Then he began laboring. She wrinkled her nose. God, those first few weeks were brutal. He pretended he was fine, but his hands were bloodied and blistered, and he was so sore all over you'd think he was the cripple. But after that, I swear, it's as if they had changed overnight. Spindles came home one day, and he was a man. And let me tell you, girls noticed. It was a bit sick. And the eyes that followed him, like bitches in heat. She stopped short, not saying you're a bitch. Yeah. Um. So that's just real femcel coded. Like it's weird because it's like, again, Moreci really wants to be feminist, but like this is such a weird. Where did Katie go, guys?
I'm just like, that is
I'm gonna cut
such a
over her.
weird tone for his gentle sister who's ill to be like, yeah, all these bitches in heat. Like, what is
Well, his
that's like a
sister's supposed to
witch.
be. Yeah, his sister's supposed to be spicy, but like this is like,
That's not
again,
spicy. That's disgusting.
it's really incel coded is what
It
it is. It's like,
is.
oh, women, they only like men when they have canthal
They're
tilt
just
of
like
over
dogs
3%.
wanting to copulate. Like, it's like, what? If I were his sister, you know what I would feel? I would I would be like, and then all of a sudden all these girls started coming and I thought to myself, that will never be me. I will never have men coming to find me. And I would be a little
That's
jealous.
better.
Like I would
Yeah.
be a little jealous that my brother will have a normal life and he'll be able to court and find love, but I will be stuck with my mother forever and be unable to find love. Like I would be upset,
You know what's actually
but
funny
not like
also is
that.
Jenna has said that she doesn't really like people to use the word bitches unless it's women talking about other women on her
Oh
Discord.
well.
And so, I think this is actually fine. I think it is feminist, guys. Somebody said I highlighted it, but I can't believe Naomi is a member of our incel. Yeah. But anyway, that was a thing that really annoyed me about the book that we didn't get into. Okay. Okay, so this is the action scene. So a couple things about action scenes. Action scenes are actually really hard for us to critique because what?
Wait, wait,
What?
wait. Where is it? Where? Oh
I
God,
took
it's
it down
going
to
so
this.
quickly. Well, hold on a second. Hey,
Oh, oh.
hey. Did
Hey,
so
so did
Layla
Lena?
heal Naomi?
Oh, okay. So this is one place that Jenna did avoid the trap, which is that so Naomi is his sister, right? Who has her legs don't work. I forget what the term is. And so Layla can help her heal, but she can't fix it, which is good because we don't want disabled characters to be fixed. It's a problematic trope. That's not sarcastic, but it's a problematic trope when they're healed.
Yeah.
And so in
Okay.
this case, it's handled more like okay, and it's also handled like she's reopening her nerves ways, which is going to be
A
difficult for a
process.
while. Yeah, I mean, I assume a lot of this is owed to Naomi watches Joe Rogan.
I saw that too.
That's funny. I think it's uh now my brain is beginning to die a little bit. I think it's something where she puts a lot of what's happening with her husband into Naomi because her husband has a neuro damage. He like
So he
had a
also
stroke, I
thinks
think it was.
people are bitches in Heat.
That's really funny. No, that's really funny. Okay, so okay, action scenes are kind of hard for us to talk about often because the thing that makes an action scene really effective is the emotion going into it. That's almost always the thing that really makes it sing and work, and that's hard to show in a short amount of writing. Like one of my favorite action scenes was in Kushiel's Dart, but the actual action is only like 4 paragraphs over a 3-page area. Um, uh, Hold on, I'm reading things. Yeah. So it's one of the things that's a little hard to judge, but I think in terms of just not describing the mechanics well, we can get into it. But right from the bat, here's what's happening. Raphael, who is another guy, has shown up, and they're like, Raphael, you suck because you tried to get out of a death competition by being very slightly mean to Layla. Ugh. And Layla is healing Naomi, and it's really painful, so Naomi's screaming. And bear in mind, they're in the middle of the woods. There's no way for anyone to know that they're there. Just none. Like, Raphael guessed it because he's like, I don't know. But, like, bear in mind, it's the woods. There was a scream. Her sister screamed. His sister screamed. And so they get, he by command, the next strike sent Miami crying out. So they get, happened on by a, what is it called? A patrol of the soldiers. So she
Crazy.
heard it then. So we start here. Lightning sliced through Leia's palm, pulling her back to the task. Ease the shit. Tobias abandoned the group, grabbing a leather sheath from his things and strapping it to his thigh. He turned to Layla. Stay back. What? The trees rustled. Tobias dug through his belongings, swiping up his sword, then looked to Layla. Keep them safe. Her stomach lurched. Tobias. She heard it then. A guttural battle cry. Feet pounded and silver shone through the trees. The tip of a spear, followed by a crested helm, a breastplate. A soldier burst through the foliage, and Tobias charged his way, sword drawn. Tobias! Layla cried out. The soldier lunged, and Tobias ducked beneath his blow, plunging his sword into the pit of the man's gut. Naomi's scream pierced the air, grating and horror-struck. Tobias kicked the man free from his weapon, a fleeting victory. More soldiers barreled through the woods, and bile rose in Layla's throat. How long before they were surrounded?
Wait, hold on a second. Wait,
Yeah.
I'm just looking. Is there a description here? Whose perspective is this supposed to be from? Tobias's or Layla's?
Layla's.
I thought so.
Layla.
But wait. Is there a description from Tobias's standpoint in here? Or is it
No.
all from her
This
perspective?
is all from Layla's. It's strict.
Okay. No, well, no, what I was asking is if she screwed up and accidentally switched perspectives. For a brief moment, I thought she did, but I can see how it could work.
Yeah.
So I was just curious.
So, then we get a bunch of just kick punch. Soldier headed straight to Tobias, who swiped the blade from his sheath and launched. Oh, okay. So the other thing I was going to say is right off the bat, we have a problem here where there is no tension built before the fight. A really good fight scene has tension building up to it. Tension in a novel is great. It is a thing that you want. It is what makes you go when the thing hits. It's foreplay, right? And so I was going to compare this to a scene by George R. R. Martin, who actually writes a ton of really good, not sex scenes, action scenes.
Wait, real quick. Can I
Uh,
just say something real quick? Also, that line you highlighted, wouldn't it read better if it just said, the soldier lunged. Once again,
yeah.
the soldier lunged. Tobias ducked beneath his blow, but Tobias ducked beneath his blow. But oh no, wait. The soldier plunged. Tobias, ducking beneath his blow, plunged his sword into the bit of the man's gut. Like
Yeah,
that just
somebody up
feels a
here,
little bit
I
better.
think King Armistice above here gave it in a much more succinct fashion. Can't find it. Was it him?
Oh yeah, that is a prevailing problem in writing, by the way, by Alicia. Sorry,
Oh, here it
you
was
have a
Dragon Familis. Sorry. Keep things quick. The soldier lunged. Tobias ducked and
yeah.
plunged
See,
his
that's
sword
what I
into
was
the
getting
man's
at.
gut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, something like that. It's
Quick,
just
succinct things. I noticed. So, real quick, because I know, when I was writing my Naruto fan fiction, obviously, like lame, but like I wrote a lot of it. And the thing is I learned how to, I used it as a writing exercise more than anything. It's because I got to see my writing skills and people's feedback, and it helped me a lot at the time. This is back in high school. But what I learned was two things. I think this holds true. One, when there's sudden moments that you really want to just focus on the sudden movements and the like piece by piece by piece, which it works out really well also in the Tainted Cup book that we did. Um, you do succinct descriptions with periods and then sudden, like, so that way it's like sudden and it feels like
Mm-hmm.
like a surprise. But when you have a character that does a, like, for example in Naruto, where there's like, oh, a whole bunch of hand signs and you do things or whatever, like with those kind of things that if you're using magic or things like
I
that.
actually also wrote a bunch of Naruto fanfic and
Mm.
fights.
Okay, thank you.
I'm making fun of
But
you in my
anyway,
head, but I'm not.
thank you for joining me in
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
But
Solidarity.
when you're doing like a motion, like there's a ritual or something you must do for magic or something like that, it really is great tension building too. When you have like a whole bunch of semicolons or em dashes or colons and commas, where it like kind of like builds upon it. And to answer your question, Bloodstar, it was a Kasame ship with an OC, who had a drinking problem.
Kasami?
Kisame, yeah, the fish guy from the Hoshigake Kisame. And it was an OC, and she was an alcoholic, but then she became sober over the course of their relation. Like, they didn't have a relationship. I never actually got to the romance until the very last chapter.
That's so funny. But okay, so but notice, okay, here's how much before the fight you have this much build up. This is the only tension built. You start the tension with what was that? Up here he says, I know this is taxing, but someone will hear us. No, you won't. You're in the middle of the forest, my dude. What? It just reads like him being kind of neurotic. Okay, and if we go to A Feast for Crows, there's actually a ton of really good fight scenes in A Song of Ice and Fire, but I wanted to do one that was kind of one person against many, like out of the blue kind of a feeling. So we're doing Brienne's fight scene in A Feast for Crows.
Hmm.
We share this one. So there's just been this whole thing going on. Okay, so there's actually even more. Okay, here it is. What sort of friends? Brienne moved to the door of the smithy to peer out through the rain. He shrugged. You'll meet them soon enough. I may not want to meet them, Brienne thought, as the first riders came splashing through the puddle into the yard. Beneath the patter of rain and dogs barking, she could hear the faint click of swords and mail from beneath their ragged cloaks. She counted them as they came. 2, 4, 6, 7. Some of them were wounded, judging from the way they rode. The last man was massive and hulking, as big as two of the others. His horse was blown and bloody, staggering beneath his weight. All the riders had their hoods up against the lashing rain, save him alone. His face was broad and hairless, maggot white, his round cheeks covered with weeping sores.
Ooh.
Brienne sucked in her breath and drew Oathkeeper. Too many, she thought, with a start of fear. They are too many. Gendry, she said in a low voice, you'll want a sword and armor. These are not your friends. They're no one's friends. What are you talking about? The boy came out and stood beside her, his hammer in his hand. Lightning cracked to the south as the riders swung down off their horses. For half a heartbeat, darkness turned to day. An axe gleamed silvery blue. Light shimmered off mail and plate, and beneath the dark hood of the lead rider, Brienne glimpsed an iron snout and rows of steel teeth, snarling. Gendry saw it too. Him. Not him. His helm. They're talking about the character. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Brienne tried to keep the fear from her voice, but her mouth was dry as dust. She had a pretty good notion of who wore the hound's helm. The children, she thought. Yeah. So already we have so much built
so
up here.
good.
It's like, almost like a horror movie.
It is, because she's not gonna win. Like, that's why. Like, sure, your character might be super badass, but if you're outnumbered, like, you're good. Like, her knowing that is also impressive.
And in this case, it's also giving you such a sense of place and atmosphere and details, but also it's just building tension. We're just building tension so that when we get to the scene, it means more. Also, another thing to note here, and I'll come back to this with the other one, but this scene is about something. We'll talk about this in a second. 7, Brienne thought, again, despairing. She had no chance against 7, she knew. No chance and no choice. She stepped out into the rain, Oathkeeper in hand. Lieber be, if you want to R-word someone, try me. The outlaws turned as one. One laughed, and the other said something in a tongue Brienne did not know. The huge one with the broad white face gave a malevolent hiss. The man in the hand's helm began to laugh. You're even uglier than I'd remember. I'd sooner R-word your horse. So anyway, this is about Brienne, and this is the culmination of her entire plot line. so it's a little unfair. But action scenes need to function as scenes, especially in a book where you can't visually be interested in what's happening. It's just words on a page. It's about the emotion. It's what's story. The story here is that Brienne has no choice, but she's not going to leave these harmless people to die. She is going to be a knight. She is going to die ignominious in the rain, or whatever the word is, as a
Ignobly.
nobody, ignobly in the rain. But that is what being a knight is. She believes this. This is the fight, and so
And not
like
just
that is.
it
Go
right
ahead.
here too. It's really setting up the field and the combatants
Yes,
so
that's
that way
true.
once that like the thing is if you don't care, if you don't know who's there, then you don't care who wins. But if you, I mean, obviously you want your main character to win, but it's not as engaging as if you set up why you dislike one party over the other party and you want them to win. So that way you are like, oh, and you get
Mhm.
fearful or you get excited. Like otherwise, once the action starts, it's too late. You can't stop that action sequence then to do that.
Elijah says, who's just been hitting it out of the park. GRM knows how to set up, layout stakes, and the tensions. All that Jenna Moreci has is surprise, which is a lasting feeling. But each line has such intent and tells something. It's not about what's happening, but about the implications. Jenna doesn't have that.
Yes.
She only has the visual. Yes, and that's actually a good point too. In that here, it's clear what's going on. Like we have, it's almost like a samurai duel. Like we have the combatants, we have the field, we know what's going on. And the other one, they just kind of appear, and it's not even, I would say, surprising. It's more confusing because you're
Yes.
like, wait, where did they come from? How did they
Yeah.
find them? And then there's a bunch of them all of a sudden. Um, so we'll find out later that the point of this scene is, and I think, is like hell, Layla tore from Naomi's grasp, power simmering in her blood, behind him. And at the very end, what we realize is that Layla swallowed, blood caked her foot, her dress. She stood tall, but her red hands were already trembling. They'd seen it all, Naomi and Kenny, who were looking at her slack-jawed. Every cut and blow, the dark truth behind her savage capabilities. So the point of this scene is she's showing a darkness inside her that she didn't like to Naomi and Yukana. That is not foregrounded. So we just have three scenes of kick punch that are then um, given the emotional ramifications. You know, the stakes aren't there until the scene has already passed. Imagine if at the end Brienne had thought, after the fight is over, she thought, one against seven, no chance but no choice, right? That line. That doesn't make sense. And so
Mm-hmm.
you can have something happen at the end of a fight scene that changes it, but like the stakes and what make it really nice and make it a character moment are at the end of this fight. Uh,
Also, as a side note, it occurs to me, so you've already mentioned multiple times now. It's like, okay, why are they even there? How can they even hear the screaming and everything in the middle of the woods? But let's say they do. Wouldn't they think, oh, somebody's in trouble, somebody's in danger? And how do they know how everybody looks like, per se? Like, unless, I mean, I guess they could have images and stuff like that, like paintings or something of the people. Um,
no, no, no. You just have to assume the internet exists.
yeah, the thing,
You just have to assume the internet exists
yeah,
in
like
this book.
that's what's crazy is that he like when they come up, why would they initially attack? Why wouldn't they just like come like ready and be like, "Hey, is everybody okay? Like, what's going on?" And wouldn't it be a scouting team and not like a full like force ready to like? Why do they instantly attack? Why don't I mean? I understand being wary and being like, "Hey, what's going on? Is there a woman in trouble?" And being like, "Oh, you're helping." Like they could just fake it. They just say, "Oh, we're wrapping up the her wound. She got wounded. She's in pain. She's sick or something." And then them being like, and then like the tension of the lie, and then all of a sudden some being like, "Wait a second, I've
Yeah. No, that
seen
is such a
you."
good point. That
Yeah,
is such a good point. That's such a better way of building tension beforehand. One of the things about Inglorious Bastards by Quentin Tarantino, a lesser
I just
known
rewatched that the other
director,
day.
that movie is essentially just a bunch of scenes of slowly rising tension,
Yeah,
slowly rising. So like the one in the scene
in the bar.
in the bar where he goes three instead of the German three, or no, he does the English three versus the
Yeah,
German
instead of the
three.
German three.
There is a shootout at the end of that scene, but that scene is beautiful because of the tension building in it. It's not the actual shooting that makes that a good scene, and nobody really remembers that part of it. Um, Another thing, why do they automatically kill these soldiers? Why doesn't she try to reason with them
Convert
that
them.
she is, yeah? Well, even like, hey, I'm the savior, and this is my boyfriend. He won the tournament. You
We are the
serve me.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. She should at least try that to see if it's going to work or not. And you can
Yeah.
actually have really interesting emotional stakes of she doesn't really want to fight these soldiers because they think they're doing the right thing. They could be
Yeah.
like, you know what, you're gaslit though. We heard about this. He's drugged you with his cock or whatever. That would be a Jenna thing to do. But like that's a thing. That would add a lot of emotionality to this fight if they're killing them, but she doesn't want they're good people, but they have to do this and she feels bad. And then that actually could have been like a motivation throughout the book is that she's constantly trying not to confront
Also,
these soldiers because she doesn't want them to die.
from the games, Tobias is used to just trying to survive. So it makes sense if he just went into fighting mode and he's like trying to kill. And she's like, Tobias, don't kill them. And then he struggles because he's never had to do that before. Like he's always had to like kill or be killed. So he's like, I don't know how to do that. And so then you have like a really interesting leveled like fight scene where, and it could be comedic even. She could even draw on the comedic because he's like, okay, grab dirt and throw it in their face. Like, something like that.
Yeah.
Ew.
Sorry, somebody had a funny thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
But yeah, no, completely. And that would actually tie in because Tobias is going to have rage issues where he thinks about the darkness and he's transported back to the tournament in his mind. And this would actually be a way that would have a bearing on the plot and be shown is that, like, yeah, he is in fight or flight. And he just fights a lot. Okay, so let's look at actual, like, kick fight. The soldiers headed straight for Tobias. Let's actually start. Basically, they do this, but I want to start with Layla's point of view. She burst into light, reappearing with her arms wrapped around a soldier's neck, her eyes staring straight into Raphael's stunned gaze. She whipped her blade from its sheath and slit the soldier's gullet, drenching her hands in his blood.
Wait, pause. I'm sorry. You got to switch the scene, right?
Oh, am I off?
You're on
Right,
George R. R. Martin. Is
I
that
forgot?
okay?
No, you're correct.
Yeah, I got you, Eugene. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, so we can read too. Sorry, guys. Yeah,
Sorry, guys.
forget
I
'cause
got you.
they
I
look
got
the
you.
Same. She burst into light, reappearing with her arms wrapped around a soldier's neck, her eyes staring straight into Raphael's stunned gaze. She whipped her blade from its sheath and slit the soldier's gullet, drenching her hands in blood. The man tumbled to the ground as Layla's shadow walked away, standing firm and scanning the madness. Two men were on top of Tobias, one with the fist wound in Tobias's hair, the other with the sword pointed at his throat. The other thing I should have said is that there is a little bit of stakes here where Tobias is about to get dead. And she's like, his eyes are saying, stay back, but Tobias's voice faded, leaving her with her heartbeat pounding in her ears like hell. So I guess the story of this is that she's not gonna stay back, but again, that's kind of just a weak story. Layla's vision flashed white, and when her sights cleared, she stood behind the armed soldier, Tobias writhing in front of him. She jabbed her blade deep into the man's lower back, finding the sweet spot between the edge of his armor and hacking away. Howling, he grasped at the river pouring from his opened kidneys, while Layla's shadow walked behind the second soldier, lit and fuming. She ripped the helmet from his head and smacked it against his skull, freeing Tobias from his clutches as she beat the soldier with his armor. A fist plowed into her cheek, toppling her. She fanned her fingers through the dirt. She dropped her blade, but the soldier flipped her onto her back, pinning her against the ground. Blood leaked down his leg, and his face was drained of color, but that didn't stop him from grabbing her shoulders and thrusting her into the dirt. There's no use resisting, he spat. Stay still. So a couple things. First off,
First of all, wait, don't they strap their like? How did she just?
I mean, that is a really good point.
That's my first question. I was like, what do you mean she just yoinked his head? Like, that's so strange.
So I think the things to note here is that it's a lot of person did this, person did that kind of. It's not she as a prose problem that comes up sometimes, but mostly those are just describing actions without a dimensionality of vivid description or emotion. Or I mean, she says lit and fuming, but she's just kind of mad. That's not really that interesting. If you compare this to also plowed, I don't like here. Here. Let me show you how many times they say plowed.
Wait, a fist
Why am I having trouble typing?
rammed? No, I don't like that word.
14 times she uses somebody for his. Yeah, she uses.
Oh,
a fist,
Lord.
A fist. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, Jesus.
6, 7.
And they're so close together. Look at the page numbers.
A fist plowed. Okay, she literally she just uses it a ton. It's a way over.
Collided, yes.
Right. So there's that. A lot of this language is not finding the sweet spot beneath the edge of his armor. That's probably the only good description I would say that becomes kind of vivid. But even then, it could be better. And so if we compare it to A Feast for Crows, should I stab said. They actually start fighting. Um, she meant it to provoke him, and it did. Bellowing curses, he came at her, his feet sending up splashes of black water as he charged. The others stood back to watch the show, as she had prayed they might. Brienne stood as still as stone, waiting. The yard was dark, the mud slippery underfoot. Better to let him come to me. If the gods are good, he'll slip and fall. The gods were not that good, but her sword was. 5 steps, 4 steps now. Brienne counted, and Oathkeeper swept up to meet his rush. Steel crashed against steel as her blade bit through his rags and opened a gash in his chainmail, even as his axe came crashing down at her. She twisted aside, slashing at his chest again as she retreated. He followed, staggering and bleeding, roaring rage. Whore, he boomed. Freak, bitch, I'll give you to my dog to fuck, you bloody bitch. His axe whirled in murderous arcs, a brutal black shadow that turned silver every time the lightning flashed.
Oh, that's so
Brienne had no
good.
shield to catch the blows. All she could do was slide back away from him, darting this way and that as the axe head flew at her. Once the mud gave way under her heel, she almost fell, but somehow she recovered herself, though the axe grazed her left shoulder that time and left a blaze of pain in its wake. You got the bitch, one of the others called, and another said, let's see her dance away from that one. Dance she did,
Dance she
relieved they
did.
were watching. So, first of all, an action scene doesn't stop meaning you can't write well. um, that you shouldn't be following all the other rules of prose that we have laid out. All the other things that you should be doing as a writer. Like, you still want vivid descriptions. You still want things that make you feel immediate. You still want to introduce character through it. So, like, some really good ones here are, by the way, you can't cut through chainmail. You just can't slash through like historical chainmail, unless it's extremely cheap. You just can't cut. But
Also, real
whatever.
quick, as a side note, just real quick before he continues, so you understand, feels unfair to compare. No, it's not that we're just we're explaining
Yeah,
what a great action sequence, which of course his would be, that makes sense, but we're explaining the difference between something that really works. It's not about skill level. It's just, I mean, it
right.
is, but it's also about what works, what doesn't work. It's not that we're comparing the skill levels. Obviously, she does not have
Yeah.
as much skill. We already know that.
Godkiller was a book that had decent action in it. Not as good as Summer Rise
Yes,
and
it
Fire, but
did.
I wouldn't complain about it. This is to show you guys, okay, this is how you do it really right, and it's supposed to show you the kind of the things we're trying to isolate. Steel crash against steel as a sword bit is a good one there. There's also the fact that she's talking to herself a little bit that injects a
I
lot of
love
character.
that.
Better to let him come to me. Black water, splashes of black water. I like that because it's very visual. Um, so like she twisted aside, slashing at his chest again as she retreated. That is easy to picture, but also it's the kind of thing that. But this is the kind of sentence that all of Moreci's fight scenes are made out of, just stacked one after another. She doesn't punctuate it with the self talk.
Specific moments, like, yeah, and the self-talk is nice. It's because what's number one, it slows down the scene a little bit, which is nice, and getting inside, like, in the right places. Obviously you don't want to slow it down in the wrong moments, but like, and what is the right or wrong moment, that probably depends on what is happening in that scene at that moment. But she's waiting for him to approach, so it's a nice pause in the moment, and so her thinking to herself, oh, I hope this characterizes her and also shows you, the
Mm-hmm.
reader, that she is a very skilled, like, I mean, she's skilled in fighting and she knows what to expect and she knows what to hope for, considering what her weaknesses are in this moment.
And that I think in that case you should use a book by someone who's established in the charisma. See why? We're again we're showing how this can work really well. We're not saying that she should be writing as well as Martin. This is again more of like a this is
An
how it's
analysis
done
on the
well.
writing itself, not the authors
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
Although
It
we are
doesn't.
obviously talking about
Yeah,
Moreci a lot because it's her book and that's what we're analyzing. But the bigger
yeah.
point is, look, this works. Look, this doesn't work. Why?
This is how it should be done. Uh, okay, and also there's again a lot of Martin being funny or not funny, but he does this thing where he follows one thought from another thought. They flow logically. So better to let him come to me. If the gods are good, he'll slip and fall. The gods were not that good, but her sword was. Again, there is an easiness to it that there is an ease to it that helps you through the scene and breaks up. They did this, she did that, he did that. Bran counted and Oathkeeper sweat up to Mr. Grash. He followed, staggering and bleeding, roaring rage. His axe whirled in murderous arcs, a brutal black shadow that turned silver every time the lightning flashed. That's just such a good image. That's so easy to picture, and it adds to the uh it adds to the atmosphere of the fight.
Mhm.
Also, other people saying stuff, kind of interesting. It breaks up. And then also, her left shoulder, then a blaze of pain in its wake. Notice how much more evocative and easy to picture that is than a fist plowed into her face. And then she just kind of keeps going.
Well,
Like,
you
that
know
should.
what gets me about that description is the way the plow is, like, it makes me, it's almost like comical in a weird way, using the word plow and using it on the main character who's supposed to be like treated a little bit more seriously. It makes her face kind of like, for me, it makes me picture like Play-Doh. And so when she gets punched in the face and it's like a Play-Doh-y thing, it's almost like a
Hmm.
little bit, um, I wouldn't say funny. It's degrading.
Cartoonish.
Yeah, it's cartoonish, I guess. And so it makes me feel like a little off, I guess. And yeah, for sure, maybe like using a different, by the way, as a side note, maybe using a different scene, but these are just more easily accessible scenes to us right now for us to reference and easily to like think of and like use. So that's why we're
Yeah, I
using
mean,
them.
to be honest, I didn't even like. I should have looked up even more stuff, and I didn't because I didn't have
I looked,
time.
the problem with me, guys, and I apologize, is I have a whole bunch of audiobooks and I don't have any physical copies. So when Will asked for my help,
Yeah.
I wasn't able to access those things unless I bought the books again. And I wasn't going to buy all these books again to do it. So that's the only thing that like restricted me because there were a couple of things I wanted to share with Will specifically. Like, I even grabbed a quote from Mate, and because I felt like that was vaguely similar, in the idea of like how many books have you published, how old are you, that kind of thing. I'm assuming, I don't know everything about the author, but and even when you compare it to Mate, I hesitate to say, I'd really have to look at it side by side, but Mate might actually even have some things that are, I don't know that I would say better, but it would be an interesting comparison for sure. But anyway,
Here. Elijah says, or Alicia. Martin also has a lot of action reaction, where Jenna focuses too much on the details and adverbs that take away from the fast pacedness of what action is supposed to have. Yeah, that's very true. So keep reading, and so basically we've had some action, right? We've had like 3 paragraphs of stuff happening, and then we have better than that than have them interfere. She could not fight 7, not alone, even if 1 or 2 were wounded. Old Sir Godwin was long in his grave, yet she could hear him whispering in her ear. Men will always underestimate you, he said, and their pride will make them want to vanquish you quickly, lest it be said that a woman tried them sorely. Let them spend their strength in furious attacks, whilst you conserve your own. Wait and watch, girl, wait and watch. She waited, watching, moving sideways, then backwards, then sideways again, slashing now at his face, now at his legs, now at his arm. So we have it broken up with like a thought, a remembrance, which helps us draw her into her character, but also this is her strategizing.
oh, sorry. I was looking at the, oh, somebody said they liked their picture. Sorry, I got distracted and I was like, what's the picture? I can't tell. Anyway, continue.
It's of the yeah. Oh, okay, I see. Um, Also, this is just a nice way to construct the sentence. Then sideways, slashing now at his face, now at his legs, now at his arm. It kind of draws you into the
Yes,
immediacy
the
with the
quickness
now.
of that with the
Yeah.
commas
Oh
makes it
yeah, and
very quick.
yeah, it mirrors the way that the action's going. His blows came more slowly as his axe grew heavier. Brienne turned him so the rain was in his eyes and stepped back 2 quick steps. And stepped back 2 quick steps. He wrenched his axe up once more, cursing, and lurched after her, 1 foot sliding in the mud. And she leapt to meet his rush, both hands on her sword hilt. His headlong charge brought him right into her point, and Oathkeeper punched through cloth and mail and leather and more cloth, deep into his bowels and out his back, rasping as it scraped along his spine. His axe fell from limp fingers, and the two of them slammed together, Brienne's face mashed up against the dog's head helm. She felt the cold, wet metal against her cheek. Rain ran down the steel in rivers, and when the lightning flashed again, she saw pain and fear and rank disbelief through the eye slits. Sapphires, she whispered at him as she gave her blade a hard twist that made him shudder. His weight sagged heavily against her, and all at once it was a corpse that she embraced, there in the black rain.
Oh,
She
that's
stepped back and let him
so
fall.
good. All of a sudden, she embraced a corpse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's that like yeah, it's that suddenness of it. There's a beauty. Sapphires here also makes sense in context. It's like an ironic thing
Also,
she's handing back to him. You're quiet.
yeah, I
Oh,
sneezed
okay.
really like obnoxiously, and I didn't want to do that into the mic. Um, I also like the use of ellipses right there, the ellipses, and let him fall. dot 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 dot, and biter crashed into her shrieking. Like,
Yeah.
what a great jump to the next, because you can visualize it so easily.
Yeah, this whole just flows really well. Elijah says, consequences from each action are also so superb. Each movement a
Yeah,
character does has an effect, progressing the fight. The overall
yes,
plot of The Devils wasn't that great, but the action scenes were some of the most fun action scenes. He's referring to another book we read. Yeah, I
yeah.
actually almost wanted to go over the first action scene because I think it shows character really well. But I picked this instead because I know it's written very well. His weight sagged heavily against her. There's a vividness to this whole thing. We're also bringing in we're feeling cold wet metal against her cheek that we feel that with her rain
Also,
down
that's like a
steel and
gentle.
rivers.
That's also like the dichotomy, the juxtaposition between the fight, the scene, the blade's edge of being cut, but the
Mhm.
cold metal. It seems gentle, almost like a kiss, and that's like
Yeah,
a really nice like comparison between the violence of the scene. It works.
yeah. So and Oathkeeper punched through cloth and mail and leather and more cloth. That mirrors what she's feeling in prose form.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot like that here. Let's go back to here then and share this tab instead. Where were we? Layla headbutted him, pain bursting through her skull as he flailed. She rolled out from under his weight, only to lurch backward as he seized her ankle. She kicked him hard, first in his chest plate, then again in his pelvis, pounding incessantly. Once he recoiled, Layla clawed across the ground, searching for something pointed, sharp. Her blade lay in a puddle of blood, and she snatched it up, skewing it into the root of his neck. He let out a gurgling roar, wrenching the weapon free. Blood rained down on her, but the soldier didn't relent, reaching for her wrists or her hair, desperate for something to latch onto. She combated in kind, thrashing until her hands met the rigid lines of his face. Gritting her teeth, she burrowed her fingers into his eyes, and he screamed in agony, tumbling backward. Layla scrambled to her feet and kicked him in the gut, again in the side, then stomped at his open throat over and over as blood geysered beneath her heel. Restraint was a stranger. Layla surrendered to instinct, smashing the soldier's throat into a crimson soup, the squelch of flesh screaming in her ears.
Okay, wait. She combated in kind is awful, first of all.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like, exactly. And also, when, well, hold on a second, headbutted him, she kicked him hard, first in the chest plate, then again in his pelvis. Where, like, on the hip, like, how does she feel that? Like, I would like to know, like, in
Yeah.
his pelvis, like, it is in where his genitals are. Like, she kneeing him? I just can't picture it quite. Pounding incessantly. Once he recoiled, why did he recoil? What did she hit that made him recoil? I'd like that sudden moment so that way she can jump and
Mhm.
pounce on that moment, and we can feel that tension to go into that, like, take advantage.
Yeah, I think it's something that the one thing I will say here is searching for something pointed sharp. That's kind of nice because that
Yeah, I
mirrors
do.
her
Like, panic,
confusion of like it's not even the dagger, she just needs something.
something.
But that's kind of the only time she does this. Notice how much more impersonal this feels as a kill than the one against Warge, I think. I forget his name in Beast for
Also,
Crows. That
uh,
felt intimate when he died. That felt like she was up against him. You could see fear and rank disbelief through his eye slits. Brianna's face mashed up against the dog's head, and she felt the cold, wet metal against her cheek. Um, and or even rasping as it scraped across his spine. He's just
see, the
much better with
intimacy
these
of that
verbs.
is I feel like I can commune with that. In if I had to kill somebody, I feel like those would be things I would
Mm-hmm.
also probably, unless I dissociated, but she wouldn't dissociate because she's a soldier, so she can like remember these
Yeah,
things.
she's killed people a ton.
Exactly. And then also, as a side note, her blade lay in a puddle of blood. Is she seeing that or is she feeling it? Because if she's
Oh
because remember,
yeah.
she's just searching. So if she's just searching, it would be like tacky texture of blood. Well, I hate that, but whatever. She felt the tackiness of blood and then the cold of metal or something. She gripped
Mhm.
it would even be great if she accidentally grabbed in her panic the blade, or like I'm just like throwing
Or even
random
like
shakes.
her
Like,
hand hit a splash of blood, but in it she felt
yeah.
something sharp. You know what I mean? Like give us some sensory detail. She shouldn't be able to see, so we need to mirror how she is in perceiving the scene.
Yeah, because again, it says her blade. How does she know her blade was in a puddle of blood? Does she see it? Does she feel it? Like, how does that work in this moment? And also, I still like, I'm assuming he's on top of her. So she's like this, and I'm guessing she's like this, like looking, and
Mm-hmm.
like, So it's got to be by touch alone. And so how is she fending? So she's kicking him with her feet, but then his arms have got to be on her. Would he not stop her from trying to grab a weapon? And if like, how does that interaction work? Slow it down a little. Make it. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Simple. Make it simple, but give us a piece by piece so we can picture the process.
Mm-hmm. And this is also just dumb where she's kicking his foot. That feels weirdly sadistic in a way that the
In
other
a
one
crimson
didn't.
soup.
Like, okay, so again, this feels it's you're given a lot of sensory details for it, but it's in a way that makes her seem sadistic and like she's kind of enjoying it, especially because it says it's given over to instinct. Whereas in A Feast for Crows, the this description, Oathpuncher deep into his bowels, and I was rasping as it scraped along his spine. There's a lot of specific sensory details, but it feels gross in the sense of like you just did a gross thing by killing this
Yeah.
person, not in terms of like the character's kind of getting off on this. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's what's weird. Oh my God, Will, you just
There's a
put it
big
on.
difference.
Like, it's like, the graphic nature of the queen. It's like she's using that, but in a way where if we're in that character's head, even third person limited, it's still like how they're viewing it in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost
No, no,
seems
yeah,
like
completely.
it's almost like Guts from Berserk being like, yes, blood. And it's like, no, but that's not her personality, right? And if it is, we have problems.
I mean, this is. I think Moreci just kind of likes splattery writing violence, but the problem is she doesn't balance it well with the other parts.
A great
Uh,
example of splattery violence, also as a side note, is uh oh wow, I'm blanking on his name, but he wrote the Cirque du Freak series, and he also wrote the
oh, the Darren Shan.
Darren Shawn. He loves overuse of blood to the point where it's childish in a lot of places, but it's also for children, so which is crazy. But the Demonata series is a great example of just pure gore, but it's used in a horrific way that genuinely matches what's happening with the characters.
Yeah, it's something that fits the tone. So here, for example, real quick, this because this is a good example. Okay, so that is not what I meant to do. This is what I meant to do. Okay. A fist plowed into her cheek, toppling her. She fanned her fingers through the dirt. She dropped her blood, and then basically they're fighting.
Bleed.
There's no description of what does this feel like. Whereas if we go to Feast for Crows, when Biter crashes into her, he fell on her in an avalanche of wet wool and milk-white flesh, lifting off her feet and slamming her down into the ground. She landed in a puddle with a splash that sent water up her nose and into her eyes. All
Nice.
the air was driven out of her, and her head snapped down against some half-buried stone with a crack. No, it was all she had time to say before he fell on top of her, his weight driving her deeper into the mud. One of his man's... So, like, there's an actual mirroring of what it feels like to get hit on the head. Which, again, it's like, it's described. You feel like you're in with the character. I think that's probably good for today, both because my brain's dying a little bit, and also because we've been going for 2.5 hours.
Yes. May I now share my spiders?
Yes. So for people who don't want to see it, Katie's going to show her baby spider. If you would like to watch the critique stream where we go over the sex scenes in the book, that is a Patreon exclusive that we will be doing tomorrow, live. Katie, go get your spider.
It's right here. He's ready. So
Hold on
as a
half a second, actually.
no, I
But
am.
you know, keep going, Mr.
I'm just going to preamble so that way it gives people time to leave. So, as a small preamble, he is a metallic pink toed tarantula, but he is very baby because I really wanted to handle him from a small age because I handled one of the adults and he was very jumpy. And I was like, oh no, I want to handle this from a very baby age so that way I could. Also, I've never really wanted a tarantula. They seem a little big, but his size won't get too crazy big. It'll only be about the size of my palm, whereas the females get almost the size of the hand, and that's why I got a male as well. A metallic pink toed. So he's gonna have pink toes. Right now he has black toes, and I'm gonna take him out real quick. He's living right now in here because he's too small to have a full enclosure. So he's in here. My if you're wondering about my other insects, Cheeto lived her lifespan. She came to the end of her lifespan because she lived about 2.5 years. I've not named him yet because I don't know his personality yet, and I like to learn their personalities. It will take him approximately, I'm getting him in my hand. It'll take him approximately 2 years to fully mature, and then he'll live a total of 5 to 6 years, approximately. The females sometimes a little longer. Um, Come on, Bubby. And I really like him so far. He's easy to manage at the moment because he's so small, but he's still very quick. Here we go.
Aw, I like his little boots.
His little boots are so cute. And so he's gonna, like I said, he'll get the size of, I know I miss Cheeto a lot. That was actually really hard on me. I didn't realize that, like, I knew she was only gonna live a short time, which is why I got her in the first place, because I didn't want something that was gonna live forever like a tortoise. But I'm very happy for the opportunity to try this guy out, and I can't wait till he gets a little bigger. But yeah, he will have a pink and green. Oh, he's also very sensitive, way more than the jumping spider, to airflow. So anytime I breathe on him, he's like, "Oh my God." Um, but he's really cool. I really who is even editing? We're still on that. My bad. Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. I know he's gonna actually. So if you look up a picture, if you're interested, and an adult, um, uh, metallic pink toed tarantula, they actually are super furry, and I don't know how I feel about that, but I've already committed. So, you know. Anyway, that's him. That's all. I'm just really excited because I never thought I'd get a spider like this that would live that long. And I'm really stoked to see how he progresses. That's it.
There we go. Once he's off screen, I'll take the trigger warning off. Actually, that's actually kind of how I should have done it before.
I'm fine. You can put it off
Okay.
now.
All right. There we go. Um, but yeah, so that's more or less how Jenna writes action. It's just not good. Like it serves the function of telling you what happened in terms of like the linear plot, but it doesn't contain any real emotion. And to be honest, this would be kind of fine if if the rest of the book was better, because it would be like, okay, this is fine. We don't have to keep having these scenes. They end up fighting a bunch of people. Um, so it's one of these things where it's just like there are so many problems with this book. Um, there's so many problems with the book. The prose are remarkably intensely bad in a way that is really surprising for an adult human to write.
Tarantulas actually don't bite very often, especially when they're domesticated, or they're not domesticated, but when they're like pets. So like, I don't think he would want to taste her in any way.
Okay, before we go, any last thoughts on Jenna's prose?
No, I think I've already shared my feelings on it. And again, we were just comparing scenes to between what would be considered a successful action scene. If you want to compare it to maybe somebody of her same level, that's fine, but I don't think that's necessarily what our aim was today. Our aim was just to explain why it doesn't work and to give you an example side by side so that you can understand better. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and no, I have never been bit by any of my spiders.
Okay. I will probably leave this up for some of today and then and then take it down and put it up as a video, because those are the ones that do better in the long term, where I'll try to cut out parts with Katie talking about her spider, um, to make it flow a little better. But yeah, all right. We will see you all, well, not all of you, but we'll see some of you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you watching and also just like all your comments too. Thank you.
Bye.